here, and so again, this is going to stay just south of Jacksboro, and it's going to be approaching there the Highway 281 corridor. But again, you can see exactly what I'm seeing. I probably don't have to tell you the hook. That's the area of concern there. But what I want to do, I want to go in on velocities, because we're getting a strong indication even on velocities. We have this high velocity couplet where we have gate-to-gate shear now coming together. This isn't as pronounced as it was maybe 5 minutes ago, but again, this is still what you call a high velocity couplet. And from this radar, the red is away from the radar. This is the storm breathing in air going that way and then spitting it back around there in the green. So again, when we talk about a couplet there, that's basically where the mesocyclone is, or that's basically where the area of spin is. Quickly, let's hit the spin rate product, then we'll go back to Chantel or Joe, whoever we have out there. And again, this is the computer letting us know where it thinks the optimal area of spin is. And right now we're still kind of at a level green. If we start getting to a brighter green or a yellow, that's when again we do become just a little more concerned. But at least right now, this is a strong mesocyclone. Let's also look at the hail core tracker quickly too, guys. And the hail core, also a fairly good indication of how strong a mesocyclone is. And again, you can actually see on this storm specifically where the inflow is coming in and the curvature of the storm spinning the hail back around. And again, there may be an opportunity of some larger hail here, maybe $50 plus possible with this one. Let's see, do we have Joe on the line, or do we still have Chantel? Whoever we have.
On the line.
Whoever we have here, I know we're looking at the video here. I think this is Chantel's video. And again, she's just kind of doing the best she can. This may be Joe's video. It's pitch dark out there. They're out there in the area. Joe, if you're on the live line, tell us where you are now and go and give us a live update. Or if not, do we have Chantel?
I'm here.
Yeah, Chantel, go ahead.
Okay, I'm now in Tarrant. I decided to keep on moving forward. It's kind of hard to see anything here. There's a lot of trees in the area, so I'm trying to get past it. I know this area, this is where I grow up, and I know once I get past Tarrant, there will be an opening to be able to see.
Hey, and real quick, guys, I want to interrupt, Chantel, I hate to interrupt you. Hey, let's go back to radar if we can. We're getting at least some indications here that there was a potential brief spin up. Now, this was just a couple minutes ago. This is again from a tracker that I know out there down here. And so there's some strong indications there might be some type of tornadic activity trying to happen here. Joe, are you on the line with us?
Yes, I'm back with you.
Okay, Joe, I know you're looking at it. We've got your live GPS. You're looking right up into this storm. We just had a bit of an indication here that there may have been a brief spin up by a real senior storm tracker that I know that's out there in the field as well. What are you seeing from your vantage point? Again, we're looking at your video. Give us an update.
So right now we do have a little lightning, and I'm closing in on the back side of it again. I do see some lowering. A little too hard to tell if there's any rotation or if anything's touching the ground or not. I'm still just a little too far out to be able to tell that.
Okay. Hey Joe, and I hate to interrupt you, but we do have a new tornado warning here. This is just now coming out. This is the storm we're talking about. We're going to get right back to Joe. But again, this is going to be a tornado warning here, and this is going to be for Jack and Wise County both until 9:30. And again, this is, I believe this warning was really prompted off of the some of the reports that we just had of at least a brief tornado on the ground. And again, that was going to be just south of Jacksboro. Just south of Jacksboro is where there was the possible spin up. Let's go back to radar just real quick here, guys, and let's go back to reflectivity. And so again, as we look at this, again, you can see exactly where the new tornado warning is. So the box in red there. Let's zoom this out just a little bit.
Just got a funnel cloud.
Okay, and Chantel's got a tornado on the ground. Chantel, go ahead. You've got a tornado on the ground. Go.
I'm approximately 3 miles south of Tarrant. There is a tornado approximately 2 miles south of 281. I have power. I stopped at my location, so I have a nice clear opening where I can actually see what's going on.
Okay, Chantel, we're having just a little trouble hearing you. I know you're doing the best you can out there. Tell us again exactly where it is. You said you have a tornado on the ground, and again, tell us exactly where it is.
Okay, I am approximately 2 miles north of Tarrant on 281. It's approximately, it looks appear to be on. I do have power flashes.
Okay, power flashes. Tornado on the ground.
I can't see the tornado itself, but I do see the power flashes.
Okay, and so you're at Highway 281 and where? Let's zoom this in a little bit, Copeland, if we can. So we've got
2 miles north of Tarrant.
Okay, so you're 2 miles north of Tarrant, so she's right up in here, and she's looking dead up into the hook, so there's no doubt about it. So she's looking right up into here. And so the tornado, and again, Chantel, and you're going to have to do something with your mic. We're having trouble hearing what you're saying. But go ahead and get your mic figured out, and go ahead and tell us what you're seeing out there. This is absolutely unbelievable. Chantel, go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to fix my microphone.
Okay. Do we have Joe on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
Hey,
me?
Joe, go ahead. Go ahead. Give us an update from your location.
Okay, so a lot of water on the roads where I'm at. I'm in behind the storm. I have not seen the power flashes. I mean, I do see lowering back
Do
in
we
that
have
direction.
any other video?
I'm just a little too far away to be able to get a visual on that. The road I'm on, it takes me up into Jacksboro, and I'm just a few miles outside of that. So I'm going to try to work my way back around there to where she's at.
Okay. And so from what we're hearing from Chantel, and I think we've still got Chantel on the line here too, and we're trying to get their video up right now. We're just struggling because they're in such a rural area. We're trying to get the video up. But again, from what Chantel's telling us here, just north, right here on 281, as she's looking to the north, she's been seeing some power flashes. Chantel, are you still on the live line with us here?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. We can hear you better now. Go ahead and give us an update.
Okay, I am approximately 3 miles north of Tarrant, heading towards Jacksboro. I'm very rural area. I have stopped seeing the power flashes, but that does not mean anything. Oh, okay, there it is. Never mind. I saw it. I saw it with flashing lights. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to try to get past these trees so I can get a better visual so I can tell you exactly where this is.
Okay, so and again, Chantel's just kind of doing all this on the fly. We apologize for our audio. We're just kind of doing the best we can. She's out there in a really rural area. We're trying to get her video up as well. But again, we're just having trouble with the signal out there. And we've also got Joe. We're going to be talking to Joe again coming up here momentarily. And Joe may be able to get some video up coming up here momentarily as well. Let's go to the spin rate real quickly here while Chantel's kind of regrouping there. So again, we've got storm trackers out there. So we're still getting a strong indication here on the spin rate. Let's go to velocities, and we're just going to look at the raw data here. And again, there's the couplet right there. So this is wind basically moving to the west. This is wind circling back around, moving to the east. There's the area of spin right there. And again, this still looks fairly well pronounced to me. And again, in general, this is going to be tracking up towards Vineyard and Runaway Bay. Heads up for, again, Vineyard and Runaway Bay. Let's go. Do we have Joe's video? Okay, Joe, we've got you. We've got you on the live line, Joe. Go ahead and give us an update.
Okay, like I said, I'm still tracking my way toward Jacksboro, not too far out. I am watching to the east and in that general direction. Got a lot of heavy rain that I'm running into right now. I can't really get a visual on anything right this minute.
Okay, yeah, and it's wrapped up in rain. And in fact, the latest sweep coming in here. So we're looking at Joe's video. Let's go back to radar just real quick. And again, we're going to switch away from the video. It's so dark to see anything out there right now. Let's go back to reflectivity. And as we go back to reflectivity here, you can see the hook is basically trying to close up in on itself. So we'll see what happens with this here if it does close up in on itself. If that happens, a lot of times that can ease down the tornado threat some. But at least right now, we have a strong indication on radar. There's some type of tornadic activity happening. And then we also have the power flashes. Whatever those mean. We're not sure right now, being reported from Chantel right there along Highway 281. Again, this is going to be tracking towards Vineyard and up towards Runaway Bay. Chantel, are you still on the line with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead, Chantel. Give us an update. You had some power flashes there along Highway 281. Give us an update.
It's hard to tell right now if I still have any circulation on the ground or not. I'm currently probably 8 miles north of Tarrant, approximately 10 miles outside of Jacksboro. I'm just waiting for the lightning flashes to see if I see any. I don't know if you can hear the wind right now, but this inflow into the storm is really good.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. I do see our wall cloud. I do possibly see a lowering, not for sure. Hopefully, give me another minute. I'm trying to tell if it's trying to cross 281 right now. I do see our hail core off to our east there. But right now it's just one of those guessing games, trying to see if we have any circulation on the ground with power flashes. currently I do not see anything.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, I hate to say it's a guessing game, but when again, you're seeing what Chantel's seeing out there. It's pitch dark, and again, she's having to rely on the lightning to light up the sky. It's really hard to see anything out there at all. So again, it's pitch dark out there, and again, as the lightning lights up the sky intermittently, again, she's having to basically gauge and see what's going on. Of course, a few minutes ago, she did have some power flashes, and as she had the power flashes, that was also some indication that there could have been something going on. So what that means, we don't necessarily know, but there at least was some indication there may have been some tornadic activity there. So right there along Highway 281. So again, we're watching this come in here on radar as well. Now again, you can see the hook kind of wrapping up in on itself here, and sometimes that means that the storm is occluding or it's beginning to kind of cycle down a little bit. It couldn't sustain the area of spin. Now we'll see in real time if that's happening or not. Do we still have Joe on the line with us here? Joe, go ahead. Tell us where you are now and give us an update from your vantage point there as well.
All right, so I'm just getting into Jacksboro. I'm still on the backside of the storm, still watching a lot of lightning. So far, it looks like it's produced a lot of rain. There's a lot of water on the roadway. I've come through a lot of big puddles on the highway. As far as lowerings, everything's kind of, I see a lot of scud floating around the backside of this thing. But I'm really not right now in a position to see if there's a wall cloud or any rotation or anything on the ground.
We're starting to get a vortex lock again on this, Joe, and we kind of had this vortex lock a minute ago when Chantel was potentially seeing some type of tornadic activity. We've got a vortex lock on this again. Let's go back to the spin rate. And Chantel, I don't know if you're still kind of trying to reposition. We're going to get you. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to tell you this is on the ground. I'm going to tell you from here it's on the ground. It's been my experience. I've never had yellow show up on the spin rate when we don't have a tornado on the ground. There's a tornado on the ground again here. It may have lifted momentarily. Chantel had power flashes moments ago. It was most likely on the ground then, and there's a tornado on the ground now. So Vineyard all the way back over through Runaway Bay, there's no two ways about it. This is on the ground. And again, nighttime tornadoes, they're dangerous. Nighttime tornadoes are dangerous. So again, if you have friends, family, loved ones out here in Jackson County, this is a big heads up for them. Vineyard, all the way over through Runaway Bay, the main area of spin is going to be just north of Joplin. Let's see, Chantel, are you still on the line with us?
Yeah.
Tell us where you are now. Strong indication here on the spin rate. Tornado on the ground here. I've locked onto it from here. And again, you had the power flashes right there along Highway 281. Tell us where you are now exactly and give us an update from your location.
I'm about to be at the intersection of 281 and Jacksboro Highway. I can't tell exactly. It's hard to tell out here if it's on the ground. I do see a lowering from the base of the wall cloud. Out here, there's not many power lines, so it's hard for us to tell if there is anything on the ground until a power flash happens at this time of the evening.
So we had power flashes just north of Perlin, and then right there along Highway 281. And so from there, it looked like the storm had maybe weakened just some right there north of Tarrant, right there on Highway 281. It looked like the storm had weakened some, but now again we're getting a strong indication here on radar that the storm has really ramped back up. Let's go back to the spin rate product real quick here if we can. And again, in this situation, I really want to stick with the spin rate. And like I said, with years of experience doing this here now with tornadoes, anytime we've had the yellow, we've got one on the ground. I've also got a vortex lock on this right now too. So Chantel, this is also for you. You're coming up right there on the junction. The main area spin is going to be right there off to your northeast, but be careful. And Joe, you be careful out there as well. Again, the main area spin, it's going to be right there. It's just north of the Highway 281 junction. And that's going to be right there at Highway 281 and 199. But the area spin is going to be lifting right up towards Vineyard, and it's going to be lifting right up towards Runaway Bay as well. But again, this is a tornado on the ground. Joe, are you still on the live line with us?
Here.
Joe, go ahead. Give us an update and let us know where you are now as well.
Okay, so I just came through downtown Jacksboro, and I'm headed back south towards the storm again. It kind of got away from me a little bit while I was on that windy road and a lot of puddles in the road. So I'm working my way to get on the underneath side of it again, to get kind of the clear air area where I can kind of see up in there a little bit. So right now, just I'm headed that direction. I think it's Highway 281, I believe is what I'm on, southbound out of Jacksboro. And like I said, other than rain and lightning, that's all I'm able to see right at this moment. Thank you.
Okay, Joe, really appreciate that update. You're coming in there from the north. So it looks like the storm, the latest sweep there is maybe weakening some. We don't have the yellow there still. Chantel, are you still on the live line with us?
Yes, I still am.
Go ahead and give us an update. Tell us where you are now. So Chantel's basically right there. She's at 281 and 199. Chantel's right here. The area of spin is just north of you. You did have some flashes, power flashes rather, just north of Perlin along Highway 281. Give us another update there from your vantage point.
Yes, sir. I'm just slowly tracking. I had to stop for a minute. I don't want to run into this thing, especially at night. I can't tell exactly where everything is. So I took a moment and looked around. I do still see the wall cloud. There's definitely a wall cloud. I'm not seeing any power flashes. Again, that does not mean there's not any circulation on the ground. This is, again, very rural area. Not a lot of power lines out here for it to be disrupting. Right now, it is off to my northeast, approximately probably 5 miles. Hard to guess with the darkness. I'm not seeing anything coming down from it at the moment. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to wait for a lightning flash. No, I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Just a little bit of scud coming down off the back end of it.
Okay.
And that's about it right now.
And it looks like even on the latest sweep here, it looks like it's coming down some. We don't have the vortex lock here. Hey, Copeland, let's go back to normal mode. Let's go back to reflectivity. And so this thing ramped up. And this may be the trend as we go through the evening, folks. These are called cyclic supercells. They'll wrap up, they'll spin down, they'll ramp up, they'll spin down. But this still has a lot of clean air coming into it. This is warm, moist air coming in right here. This right here is what you call the inflow notch. It's spinning back down around in here. So this is a classic supercell here. But again, it's basically coming right up there towards Runaway Bay and also the Vineyard area as well. Hey, Chantel, I don't know if you can hit your GPS. If you can hit your GPS, and let's get that updated so we can plot you on here. And just like she was saying, again, our storm trackers out there, nighttime tornadoes are dangerous for them as well. And again, we want them to be safe. So Joe back there on the back end of it, but again, Chantel basically right there at the junction of 281 and 199, and the area of spin was just to her north. She did have some power flashes, and again, even here on radar, I think there was a strong indication that we did have a tornado on the ground. It was in a pretty rural area, but to me, it looked like it was on the ground there. If we can, let's do a time of arrival on our other radar, if we can, guys. And real quick, while there's a little bit of a lull, Copeland, if we can, let's zoom this out, or let's zoom this one out if we can. I just want to show everybody where we're talking about. Again, we got obviously a lot of folks from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex watching us, wondering what's going on. And again, this is going to be to their north and to their northwest. Let's zoom this out if we can, just real quick. I want to center up the radar here. So Metroplex being right back down in here. Here's the Metroplex, Fort Worth, Dallas. Again, it's all quiet down here in the Metroplex. As anticipated, it's a completely different story off to the northwest. Tornado warning here. And again, this is going to be for Jack and Wise County. And again, this tornado warning continues until at least 9:30. Let's go and zoom back in. This is the area we've been talking about here. And again, obviously the red blinking box is where the tornado warning is. Supercell we're dealing with here. And so let's go ahead. We'll go and do the timeline there. And as we do the timeline, let's go and see the cities of concern there. Looks like Chico and also Alvord. And again, that's going to be basically right around 9:17 and 9:25. And so again, we're going to be watching that carefully as well. So okay, let's go and zoom back in there. And we can go and drop that. We can go and drop that timeline box. We can go and drop that. Let's go to the spin rate back here if we can. This is really still holding its strength. And if we need to go back to the other radar, we can. I just want to go and pump the spin rate back up there. And also we'll talk to the trackers coming up again momentarily. Let's just go to the other radar, Copeland. Okay, there we go. And let's go and put this back into the spin rate. And so again, what we're watching here, and I know sometimes this sounds a little basic, but we're watching the colors on the spin rate. And green means an area of concern. Once you start getting to the yellows or even the pinks, that's when there's more than likely a tornado on the ground. That's what we had. We were in the yellow category. This was maybe 5 minutes ago, and I think there's a near likely opportunity that we did have a tornado on the ground. It was just north of the 281-199 junction there. And again, we've got two storm trackers in the vicinity. We've got Joe on the backside of it, and the storm lifted just north of Chantel. And again, she did have some power flashes with the storm. Again, it was lifting literally just north of that 281-199 junction. And again, the general motion was towards the Runaway Bay area. So, Chantel, are you still on the live line with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, go ahead, Chantel. Tell us where you are now and go and give us another update.
Okay, I am on Jacksboro Highway. I took a ride off 281 onto Jacksboro Highway heading east. I practically stopped about 3 miles up the road, a really clear area, beautiful opportunity for me to see this wall cloud in front of me. Not seeing anything at all now. About a lowering, I'm not seeing any circulation on the ground, no power flashes or anything like that. Kind of just a wait and getting down to see if this thing is going to re-amp.
Okay, it looks like it's trying to kind of cycle down and cycle back up. Again, this is, like I mentioned, this is what we call a cyclic supercell. This will be the general trend. They'll cycle up and they'll cycle back down. But again, this storm to me still looks fairly impressive. Joe, are you still on the live line here with us as well?
Yes, I'm still on the live line with you.
Hey, Joe, go ahead. I know you're on the back side of it. You're coming out of Jacksboro there. Tell us where you are now and give us an update. And let's see if we got any video from anybody coming in. Okay, that's okay. Joe, go ahead.
So, you should have my video. Looks like my video's up and running again. I'm actually on Highway 114 headed toward Runaway Bay. I'm on the back side of it. I'm trying to get through the rain a little bit, see if I can, poke out and see. When you get once they patch you up, sometimes it's really hard to get back to the front side where you can see things. But we're definitely trying to get up there and see if we can see. Right now, I'm seeing lightning and rain primarily. Nothing real significant to report right this minute. And even the lightning isn't as intense as it was earlier. So we're working our way slowly through here, and we got some wet roads, and just trying to be careful and safe and get over there. Back to you, Wade.
Okay, really appreciate that update, Joe. Let's go. Let's see if we can. Let's go and take. Let's go and take that. And so we'll turn that down. Let's go back over to radar, and we're going to kind of monitor both feeds coming in here. So again, we continue with the tornado warning. And I believe that's Joe's. If that's not Joe's video, we'll switch off of that, Copeland. So in fact, let's just go back to radar. We'll just take the radar whole here. We'll take the radar full. And Chantel, if you have anything else to pass along, let us know. And that may have been Chantel's video. Did we get Chantel's video back in? Okay, that was Joe's. Okay, that's okay. So as we continue to take a look at this here, again, you can still see where the air spin is, and either radar, doesn't matter. Again, here's still the inflow notch. Again, warm, moist, unstable air coming in here. And again, this storm, to be honest with you folks, still looks quite impressive. So it's just north of Runaway Bay. So the storm right now, it's just north of Runaway Bay, and it's going to be right there along Highway 280. And it continues to turn just a little bit more to the northeast. So Lake Bridgeport and all the way back over to Bridgeport, you folks are on the general path of this storm. And in general, it's also going to be tracking up towards Chico, and then also back over towards, if it does hold together in its intensity, over towards the Decatur area as well. Decatur right now not currently in the tornado warning, but again, still, if you live in the Decatur area, definitely a heads up for you folks there. You have friends, family, loved ones who live there. Again, definitely a heads up as well. Let's go. I want to do this. I want to switch back over to Chantel. Are you still on the live line with us?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Go ahead, Chantel. Tell us where you are now, and go ahead and give us another update with what you're seeing out there.
I'm currently still in the same location I was, approximately 3 miles east on Jacksboro Highway. Just kind of hanging back for a moment. I'm looking at the lowering of the wall cloud. Currently, again, no power flashes at the moment, so I don't think there's circulation on the ground. Kind of like what Joe said, I'm having a hard time seeing anything. It seems like the lightning has ramped down, so it's making it harder for me to see anything at all.
Okay, and that's the one drawback, of course, with nighttime tornadoes. They're dangerous, or at least the nighttime tornadic potential. It's dangerous in the fact that you can't see. And that's why we've been switching between our storm tracker feeds, but there's really just not a lot to see. It's all dark out there. And again, this is what, our guys or gals out there in the field are having to deal with, and it's dangerous for them as well. And so again, Chantel and Joe both doing a tremendous job out there. But we have had some tornadic activity here now with this storm. And again, the way it looks to me, the storm continues to really hold its intensity as well. Say that one more time, Josh. Okay, so I think we had already really confirmed it. Spotters have officially confirmed there was a tornado there. We saw it on radar. Chantel also had the power flashes. I think we've already confirmed it if you were watching us maybe about 10 minutes ago. So a little bit ahead of the curve there. So this continues to really track off there towards the northeast. And let's do this. Let's go and put the spin rate back up there, if we can, Copeland. And so we're using this product really almost exclusively now. And again, keep in mind, this is something you're only going to see here on Texas Weather Tracker TV. But this product specifically, when you start to see the greens, that lets you know there's an area of concern, an area of spin that you've really got to watch. There may be a warning issued at that point in time, but as this gets up until the yellow category or the pink category, that's when it becomes a little more concerning. That's what we had maybe about 5 or 10 minutes ago, is that we had a yellow showing up. And I know that sounds basic. We're just talking about colors, but that's the way this product works. That's what the computer's letting us know. We had a vortex lock, yellow from the spin rate, and again, Chantel, by the way, also had power flashes out there as well. All of that led us to believe we did have a tornado on the ground. Getting some confirmation now a little bit later on there from the Weather Service as well, that again, there was a tornado on the ground. But again, we basically called that, like I said, about 10 minutes ago. Okay, so let's go back to velocities here. We're going to check back in with our storm trackers coming up here momentarily. I just want to take a look at, this is just kind of the raw wind flow here within the storm. And we'll zoom in here just a little bit if we can, Copeland. We'll zoom in right there, right into the couplet. This is what we call the couplet. And so this is where we have the storm breathing in air there in the red, air moving away from the radar site. And then again, this is it being spun back around. So this is the area of spin. It's not necessarily a high velocity couplet that we had maybe 10 minutes ago, but again, this still looks pretty concerning here. So there's Vineyard, there's Runaway Bay, and again, in general, this continues to lift off here to the northeast, and in fact, it's going to be moving up there towards the Chico area, again, as we really go over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. We may go ahead and do another timeline, guys. We'll put this back in a reflectivity mode, and then if we can, let's do another timeline, and so that way we can kind of time out this activity. But this will continue to move in the Wise County, and especially the folks over towards the Decatur area. Again, if it does hold together, it'll be tracking over towards the Decatur area. While we're doing the timeline, Joe, are you still on the live line here with us? Okay, Joe, tell us where you are now, and go ahead and give us an update from your location.
So I'm still on 114. I'm tracking to the east toward Runaway Bay. One major concern, this road is significantly flooded. I come through water a little while ago. You don't see it until you're right on top of it. It's pretty dark, and the water was flowing across the highway. I mean, legitimately rapidly flowing, probably six inches plus of water, for a long way. I mean, I before I knew it, I was in it, and I had nothing to do. All I could do was go forward. Luckily, I didn't stall out. I made it through there. So something to keep in mind out here on these highways. But as far as what I'm seeing, the lightning has come down a little bit. It's not nearly as intense as it was earlier. But I'm still tracking east, still trying to catch back up to it. I've had to drive a little slower because of the wet roads and the flooded roadways out here. So outside of that, I mean, I can't really see anything. No lowerings right this minute, no wall clouds that I can tell because I'm not really close enough. But
yeah, you're right there. You're right there on the back side of it, Joe. And I'm telling you, this right now, the way it looks to me, the main area is spin. It's due north of Vineyard. It's 3 north of Vineyard, and it's going to be tracking back up towards Lake Bridgeport and also back over through Chico. Especially for the folks there in Chico. Hey, real quick, do we still have Chantel on the live line? I know she was just a little bit closer. Joe's on the back side of it. Chantel's on the front side of it, so we have it covered here on both angles. Chantel, are you still on the live line with us?
Yes, I am.
Tell us where you are now. You're doing a great job reporting. Again, you had the power flashes a few minutes ago on Highway 281. We then had the at least pronounced what looked to be a tornado on radar. Just north of Highway 281 and the 199 junction. Tell us where you are now and give us an update.
Currently, I'm on 199 heading east. I'm going to try to go up and hit the Runaway Bay. I'm kind of head out there. Currently, I'm not seeing any lowerings either. I'm kind of out of position to see into the couplet at the moment. And like Joe said, the lightning has just been so much, and it is making it hard for me to be able to see if there is any lines or not. And currently the area I am in has a lot of tree cover, so I can't see anything right now.
Yeah, and again, we've said it a couple times. It's just what we have to deal with, unfortunately, with these nighttime tornadoes, and that's why they're even more dangerous. And again, you're seeing what Chantel's seeing out there. It's pitch dark, and it's obviously dangerous for our trackers, number one, who they're doing a great job. By the way, you're not seeing this anywhere else in North Texas. You're not seeing this anywhere else in Texas, period. Live video coming in from 2 different storm trackers on this storm here moving into Jack County and into Wise County as well. And so anyway, so here's the timeline on this storm. So we're going to go with Chico here still right around 9:37, and then Alvord there Alvord, right around 9:36. I'm having to lean in to even see it there on our screen. So 9:27 Chico, 9:36 rather for Alvord. And so again, as this continues to lift off there to the northeast, and again, you can see the hook on this storm. Again, this storm looking quite concerning still. The tornado may have lifted from what we had earlier, but again, may go on to produce what we call hopscotch tornadoes, meaning it produces something, lifts, produces, and lifts. We don't know that's going to happen. It may not produce anything else, but at least right now we know it's produced one tornado, confirmed tornado. We had it about 10 minutes before we even had the confirmation of that, again, here on Texas Weather Tracker TV. The main area of spin, it still looks to be just due north of a vineyard. If we can, let's go and switch back over to the other radar. I'm just going to walk back over here. If we can, let's switch back over to the other radar. I'm going to jump in here just real quick, guys, if you don't mind, just real quick. And if we, let's see if we can just kind of zoom in here. Are we in the Dallas radar? Okay. So again, the main area of spin, it's going to be, if we can plot this up here, and we're not getting the things on here, but the main area of spin, it's going to be just due north of Vineyard, and it's going to track just north of Runaway Bay. And so the general motion, again, is going to take this back over through Chico, and then eventually, again, if this does hold together, there's an opportunity. It's going to be crossing that Highway 81 corridor near or just north of the Decatur area. And so, again, right now it's in a fairly rural area, but there are going to be some hometowns that, again, this is going to be trying to go through as we go over the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. But again, in general, it's going to be at least tracking towards the Highway 101 corridor there as well, just south of Chico. So again, yes, those are fairly rural areas, but those are hometowns, and people do live there. But again, if you have friends, family, or loved ones over in the Decatur area, give them a heads up and let them know what's going on. Let's do this. I want to zoom out the radar, Copeland, if we can. Let's take the other radar. Let's zoom it out. And Josh, if you have anything else to pass along, just let me know. Let's take the other, and we'll zoom this out completely. And I know we've got a lot of folks joining us on Texas Weather Tracker TV. And again, if you're watching us here in North Texas or from around the world, again, thanks for joining in on our coverage. Again, we're covering right now a tornado-warned storm. This is in North Texas. This is going to be north of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Metroplex being down in here. Again, it's all quiet here in the Metroplex. It's a warm, humid evening out there. There will be rain overnight here, but right now there's no rain. There's no imminent storms here in the Metroplex as we go over the next several hours. And again, we're tracking this activity out here to our northwest. Tornado warning here. This is for Jack and Wise County. And again, tornado warning does continue. We've had one confirmed tornado, even with our storm trackers, again, with lightning, or with power flashes rather, and then also on radar, again, confirming the tornado as well. Weather Service also confirming it. Let's go ahead and zoom in on our tornado warning here. And so obviously the tornado warning red blinking area, this is what we call a polygon. That's what the Weather Service issues to let us know, again, obviously there's a threat of a tornado. And so as we zoom this in, this storm continues to look more and more, to me, ominous. And I hate to use that word, but I feel like if this is not producing a tornado, it's going to go on to produce another tornado. And again, it's all because of this hook. And these things, we say this all the time, they're living, breathing things. And what I mean by that is these need warm, fresh, unstable air to breathe in. And this one has an open supply of it. And you can see the mouth of this storm right here. This is the inflow notch. This is where it's breathing in. The mouth is wide open. You can see it right there. This isn't a small inflow notch at all. This isn't an inflow notch that's closing. The mouth is wide open on this storm here. So again, inflow continues to come in. It gets wrapped back around, and there is an opportunity right back down in here of at least some tornadic activity. That's where the area of concern is. It looked like this was easing down some, but there may be an opportunity now for it to ramp back up. Let's hit the spin rate real quick here, guys, if we can. And as we take a look at the spin rate here, again, this is just a different computer algorithm that we use. And what it means, the radar basically takes all the different data from the radar, it puts it together, and it lets us know where the best area of spin is. And again, that's what we're looking at. Let's switch to the other radar, Copeland, if we can. So spin, and here we go. We're back to the yellows here. I think there's another opportunity that this is back on the ground here. This is going to be tracking back over here towards Chico. Another confirmed tornado. Say that again, Josh.
Near Wizard Wells in Jack County.
This is near Wizard Wells in Jack County. Chantel, are you still on the live line with us?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead. Tell us where you are now. This appears to be back on the ground. To me, it's going to be tracking up towards Chico and Highway 101. So Chico and Highway 101, it looks like it's going to go near or just north of Bridgeport. But the folks in Bridgeport, I'd be taking my immediate tornado precautions as well. Chantel, go ahead.
I am currently on 1195 is a rural FM road. I know this road. It takes me to Decatur a lot. I know that there's going to be no flooding on it, but the problem is there is a lot of trees, and I can't see anything right now. I don't see any power flashes or anything like that. Nothing's getting lit up blue. That's an indicator of power flashes if you're seeing blue towards the ground, and I'm not seeing that right now. I'm hoping I get up a little bit farther, and I'm trying to stay out of the rain right now, so I do have visual. I'm trying to stay right beside that couplet, so it's always to my west, not having to worry about it running me over. But right now, I visually do not have anything because of all of the trees.
Do we have Joe on the live line still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Joe, go ahead. Tell us where you are now. Go and give us an update. And folks, I'm going to say this one more time. This is on the ground, and this is going to be tracking right up towards Chico and Highway 101. It's a rural area. It's tracking right up towards Highway 101 on radar. This is fairly impressive. This tornado is on the ground. Joe, tell us where you are now and give us an update.
So I have just came into the west side of Runaway Bay. The lightning has intensified quite a bit. It's still a little hard to see if we have anything lowering or any kind of ragged edges or any kind of wall clouds or funnel clouds back in there. I'm still working my way over toward Highway 101, and then I'm going to probably head north once I get there. I'm not far off from that point at this point, but I should close in on it pretty fast. Other than that, outside of lightning and some rain right this minute where I'm at, I can't really see too much. Back in.
Okay, really appreciate that update, Joe. So again, we got the trackers out there. Again, you're seeing the video coming in. It's dark. They're doing the best they can. But again, we've got them out there. And again, Chantel doing a great job. Again, earlier she had the power flashes. Let's go back to radar. And right now it appears as though this is going to be tracking right up towards the Chico area. We've still got this vortex lock. We don't have the yellow showing up here, and I know that sounds basic. We don't have the yellow, but this product here specifically, once you start getting into the yellows and pinks, that's when it becomes a little more concerning. We did have the yellow just maybe 2 minutes ago. We no longer have that, but we've still got the vortex lock. That marker right there is still a vortex lock. This is tracking right up towards Chico. And so again, this is a really rural area. I understand that. This is Highway 101 right through here. There's Chico, there's Bridgeport. So north out of Bridgeport towards Chico, in general, that's where the area of concern is going to be. There's Lake Bridgeport. The main area of spin is going to stay just north of Lake Bridgeport. But again, that's going to be tracking right up there towards the Chico area. And they're right on the fringes of the warning. But I tell you, if you have anyone you know that lives in Chico, make sure they're taking their immediate tornado precautions. And again, you folks in Bridgeport, even though again, it appears as though the area of spin is going to stay just to your north, there it is. We've got the yellow again. This is a hopscotch tornado. And so that means it's on the ground, it's lifting, it's on the ground, it's lifting, and it's dark and you can't see it. Do we still have the storm tracker video? Let's punch either one of those up. And again, this is what we're dealing with out there. You can't see anything. So this is from Runaway Bay here. I believe this is Joe's video. And again, it's a shot in the dark. And again, that's what the storm trackers are dealing with, but that's also what the hometowns out there are dealing with. And I know sometimes in North Texas, a tornado warning is issued and people like to go out to their front porch and look around, especially in some of the rural towns. This is not a day to do that. Again, this tornado, the way it appears right now, it's on the ground, and it's been a hopscotch tornado, meaning it's been down, it's lifted, it's been down, it's lifted, and it's on the ground again right now. We've had some power flashes here. Chantel's had it, but again, radar is doing a good job of letting us know that there's some type of tornadic activity. Let's go back to radar here. And again, you can, I don't even have to tell you this. Look at this. This is very impressive. This could be becoming a strong tornado, and it is tracking right up towards Chico. And I'm going to say it one more time. If you know anybody, and I understand this is a small town, but if you know anybody who lives in the Chico area, and I tell you what, if I was even down in Bridgeport or Lake Bridgeport, you've got to be taking your immediate tornado precautions right now. This is wrapped, you are seeing the curvature of the actual mesocyclone in real time. This is a high velocity couplet. You're seeing inbound bright red. That is the storm breathing in. This is the green return flow back around. And again, you can see the vortex lock right in the middle. Let's go to the spin rate. And there's the yellow right in the middle, right in the middle, right on the money right there. So this is on the ground, folks. Again, it's hard to confirm that, obviously, when you're dealing with the nighttime tornado, the area of yellow getting even bigger. So this is tracking up towards Chico. Let's zoom this out just a little bit here. So this is concerning now. And so again, this is going to continue lifting off to the northeast. Now, I don't really anticipate this weakening much. Now, again, this may continue to be a hopscotch tornado, meaning it's on the ground and lifts, on the ground and lifts, but this is going to continue tracking deeper here into portions of Wise County. It's also going to be tracking the way it looks right now, just north of the Decatur area. But again, this is going to get deeper and deeper here into the county, into Wise County. And again, in general, this is going to be tracking here up towards Highway 181, Highway 81 rather, if it holds together. And again, it's going to cross over Highway 101. But again, Chico and then potentially Alvord are in the immediate path of this storm. But again, let's go back to the velocities, because it's been a while since I've seen velocities this impressive. This reminds me of a storm in southwestern Oklahoma about 2 years ago. This is very impressive, folks, but this is also dangerous for anyone who comes into contact with this storm. And so there's Chico right there, Highway 101. There's Highway 81 corridor here. And so there's Bridgeport. And again, you can still see this area spin, how close it's even coming to Bridgeport. So you folks in Bridgeport have got to be taking your immediate tornado precautions. Runaway Bay still needs to be taking their immediate tornado precautions there as well. Do we have a new warning coming out?
We do confirm tornado warning for Wise County.
Okay, so Wise County, how long is it till?
That is until 10:15.
Okay, so 10:15, brand new tornado warning, and again, this is going to be for Wise County. And so again, well, let's zoom this out again, guys, if we can. We'll just reset. I know we've got a lot of folks watching us here on Texas Weather Tracker TV, so we want to be as clear as possible. Let's go to the other radar, Copeland, if we can, and let's go and give an overview of exactly what we have going on here. Because this, for some folks in North Texas, this is now turning into a dangerous night. And so let's put it into reflectivity mode. And okay, so first of all, here's the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex right back over in here. So Fort Worth, Dallas. Again, obviously a lot of folks from the Metroplex watching, wondering what's going on. Again, it's all quiet in the Metroplex right now. This is the new area of concern. Let's go and move the radar up here. And again, this is our new warning. Let's go and zoom in on this here. And again, the red blinking box, this is a new tornado warning here. And again, this is going to be until 9:30. This is going to include Wise County. And again, it's mainly going to be because of this storm here. Let's go back to the other radar now, if we can. And as we switch back to the other radar, again, we're going to take a look at the spin rate. We're going to take a look inside the storm, and we're going to kind of center it on up here. And again, I know the guys over there, they're working hard trying to get new information, run the radar, and do all this stuff here as well. But this is the area of spin right here. So again, the warning extended deeper into Wise County here. And by the way, it does now include the Alvord area all the way back down here, all the way back down there to the Decatur area. And so again, the area of spin, again, using the spin rate tracker here, again, showing us still that yellow. And again, I know a lot of times when you're just saying the area of yellow, it sounds really basic, but with this product here, this is exactly the way you have to read it. The area of yellow is the area of concern, and again, that's where, again, the potential for a tornado is going to be. The area of yellow, it's been my experience over the years, anytime you have yellow, the tornado's on the ground. To me, it still appears as though the tornado's on the ground. Let's go and zoom this in, and let's go back to velocities here. And just in real time, we're going to keep analyzing this. But again, for the Chico area, Highway 101, all the way back over through the Highway 81 corridor, again, the folks there have got to be taking their immediate tornado precautions. And again, even as we look at the velocities here, the area bright red feeding into the storm, the area bright green being wrapped around, this is the most impressive one I've seen in probably the last 2 years as far as storms go in Oklahoma or North Texas.
Hey, William?
Joe,
Can y'all hear me?
yes, Joe, go ahead.
To my north.
Joe's got power flashes. Joe, tell us where you are and give us an update. We've got Joe on the live line.
I'm coming up to Highway 101
Yes.
in Bridgeport. And yeah, I'm seeing power flashes straight north of Bridgeport.
To CC? Okay. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe. Go to CC.
Yeah, so I'm at Highway 101 and 114. Looking to my north, I just saw some power flashes to the north of town. I can't tell exactly how far they are. They're away from me, but we're pretty close. So
okay.
Headed that way.
Okay, Joe, and he's right on it. I want to switch. Let's go. This is our debris tracker, folks, and this is where it gets serious, and I hate to say it, we're picking up on some debris being lofted up now. And we're seeing the areas of blue. I know this product looks really weird. All these different colors are saying, what in the world is this? This is debris. This is the mesocyclone right here, and just ahead of it, there's debris being flung up, and the smattering of blue right there, we're getting a debris signature now. This tornado is still on the ground. So Joe, even for you there, be careful. Chantel, where are you at now exactly?
I am just north of Runaway Bay, probably not too far behind Joe.
Mhm.
I thought I saw some flashes too.
Okay.
The problem is, right where I am in a lot of rain right at the moment. Hoping pretty soon I get out of it. It looks like there's a lot of rain building behind the storm, which is causing some problems for visibility.
Okay, let's go back to radar. And we're going to keep checking with our video. We've still got the vortex lock. And again, we're using this one looks weird, I know. But this is, anytime you see the blue, we're looking for debris. And this is the radar beam picking up on different particulates. And when it thinks it's hitting something solid that could be debris, that's the blue. And so we've got debris being lofted now. This is a little ways away from the radar site. So this is up into the air, debris being lofted into the air. Let's go to velocities. This is still inbound to Chico. And this is Highway 101. And is that Joe? Okay, Joe, you've got your GPS updated. If you can, Joe, double check your GPS so we know exactly where you are. If you turn north on 101, you're fine for about 5 miles. Do not go all the way up to Chico at all. This is coming into Chico. This is on the ground, folks. This may be a strong tornado. This may be like an EF3 type tornado. Again, we're getting debris lofted into the air. We're picking that up here on radar live. We don't want to be alarmist. This looks really concerning. And the newest sweep coming in, folks. Hey, hit Joe's video. He's got power flashes. It should be just delayed long enough. Folks, this is on the ground. This could be a strong tornado, and this is real concerning now coming into Chico. Velocities are even getting stronger. Let's stick with Joe's video here for just a minute. Joe, if you're on the live line, if we have you turned up, let's get another report from Joe.
Okay, so I'm northbound on Highway 101. Yes, I am seeing power flashes to my north, approximately 3 or 4 miles north of my position. I've got a little bit of rain. It's still trying to see if I can't find a funnel or a tornado on the ground. It's a little hard to see just yet, but as I get a little closer, I'll be able to. Everything's starting to kind of come into view a little bit. The lightning's intensifying, and everything's starting to, come into view a little bit for me.
Okay, and so Joe's just, and I think that was probably lightning there, but so Joe's just south of it, and again, we don't want Joe to go too far there on 101. He's got about 5 miles he can play with, no further than that, just for the fact that it's a nighttime tornado. This looks like it's a strong tornado, folks, to me. So let's go back to radar. And we're not saying that to be alarmist. We're saying that to let you know what's going on, to take this one seriously. And so this is Chico right here. This is one of the most pronounced areas of spin that I've seen, again, in 2 years. It goes all the way back to Oklahoma 2 years ago. We had something like this out in western Oklahoma. This one is very concerning, and you've got to take this one seriously for sure. And again, we're not saying that to be alarmist, but it's actually that serious. And so there's the Highway 81 corridor. There's Alvord right there. But this is coming right on into Chico. We continue with the vortex lock. And again, we've got one of the strongest areas of spin. Again, I've seen in probably 2 years, and that includes Oklahoma. Let's go back to the debris tracker here. Joe, and we've got your live GPS. There's Joe. Joe, you should be able to see everything from your vantage point where you are. Again, I will not go too much further to the north. That's Joe's live GPS. There he is right there on 101.
Okay, so basically I do see...
okay, do we have Joe up?
I see the tornado specifically.
And we may be losing him. It's a rural area. He's out there on 101. This is rural. We're doing the best we can with Joe's audio. Joe, you still there?
I'm not here.
Go ahead, Joe. We've got you now. Go ahead. Joe's just due south of the tornado. He's 5 miles south of it. It's still on the ground, and it's coming into Chico. Joe, go.
Right, I'm just on the right now.
Okay.
Lowerings, a little bit of trees and stuff in my way. Don't know exactly still anymore, and I have not come across any damage yet. So I'm still working my way a little bit to the north. I do see I did just then, but that lightning saw a funnel. Could not tell if it was still on the ground or not.
Okay, go back to reflect to velocities real quick here. And this is still on the ground, and it's that serious. Folks, you can go a long time. You can go to other parts of the country. You'll never see anything like this. And I'm not saying that to be hype. I'm not saying that to be any other way. But this is on the ground, and this is one we got to take serious. We've got a vortex lock here, and again, the velocities are absolutely almost off the chart with this. So again, this continues here to track up towards Chico. Looks like it may go just the dead center area of spin may go just north. 2 miles north of Chico. Now, if you're in Chico, it doesn't matter. You've got to be taking your immediate tornado precautions. The dead center area of spin is going to go red line, center line about 2 miles north of Chico. That could be good news for Chico, but it's still concerning. You still got to be in your immediate tornado precautions because it's crossing through right now. It's crossing 101 like right now. And again, it's going to be tracking up here towards Highway 81. That's the general area. We're talking about Wise County here. This is a real concerning thing. Let's go back to the debris tracker. And again, spin rate, again, folks, you hate to say this really looks concerning. Really looks concerning. There it is. It's crossing 101. It's crossing 101. It's moving through the small hometown there at Chico. The dead center area spin is going to be 2 miles. Go to Joe. Joe's got it. Joe's got it. Joe, let's see if we can get your video up. Go, Joe. Here we go. Here we go.
Around. There's definitely a large funnel and a wall cloud hanging down to 1 miles.
Has this audio been down the whole time? No.
Okay, Joe, appreciate that update. We're going to stick with your video here momentarily. We're just going to stick with your video here for just momentarily. And let us know, as we're looking at your shot here, from your vantage point, is that going to be off? I mean, if you're driving up north there on 101, the area of concern is going to be off to our camera right. Is that correct? So as we're looking for lightning to light up the sky, and again, it's probably going to be hard to see anything.
Straight in front of me.
Okay, so
Directly straight in front.
So your video is going to kick in and kick out. So we're going to stick with Joe here, and so we're going to continue to watch this again with Joe. Again, he's due south of Chico. He's on 101, and again, Joe, say that one more time because we were losing your audio just slightly. But you said you did. Did you actually see the tornado on the ground, or what were you seeing from your vantage point? Tell us one more time.
So where I'm at exactly, I'm exactly just north of Chico. I got a funnel cloud. I could not tell if it was on the ground or not still, but the lightning strike should be picking it up on the camera. It's definitely rotating, and it's like I said, it's crossing the vicinity of 101 right now, just north of Chico.
And then that's dead on. Then well, man, I wish we could freeze frame that because we're seeing it there, Joe, with the lightning lighting up. Let's quickly go back to radar, just real quick, Copeland. Let's hit radar. And so there's the spin rate, obviously still looking real concerning. 101, Chico here, Highway 81 back over here, Decatur, Alvord. We're tracking both of those hometowns now in the warning as well, tornado warning here. There's Joe's red GPS dot. And again, Joe, I just be real careful in the area you're in. I mean, Joe's right there on it. You can see his red GPS. Let's go back to the debris tracker because we did have some debris being lofted in the air just a few minutes ago. We're not seeing it now. I'm not seeing the blue, but as this was just west of Chico, Joe, we had some debris being lofted in the air on the debris tracker. Let's go back to reflectivity. And again, this is in Wise County. For you folks that are joining us here on Texas Weather Tracker TV, either here in North Texas or around the world, again, right now we're covering a tornado warning. This is in Wise County. It's northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And again, we've got a pronounced area of spin and what appears to be a tornado on the ground. At first, initially, was a hopscotch tornado, meaning it was on the ground. We had some power flashes. It appeared to lift, and now it appears to be back on the ground. Radar indicated, but also from our storm trackers here, getting what appears to be some type of a visual on it. Obviously, it's a nighttime tornado. Those are very dangerous because you simply can't see. You have to wait for the lightning to light up the sky to be able to see what's in front of you. One of our storm trackers, Joe, you see his live red GPS dot. He's right there. He's right there in the middle of it. So let's go back to velocities here and let's zoom back in. Let's zoom back in. So again, we're still right here in Wise County, small hometown of Chico. And this is it's impressive on radar. It's also very concerning. And again, you can see this area of red. This is wind away from the radar. This is the storm breathing in, and this is the wind wrapping back around there in the green. This is the area of spin. A lot of times you don't see anything this impressive. In fact, there's a lot of places in the country you can go to, you'll never see anything like this with severe weather. Even up in Oklahoma, something like this, a little more rare. And this could be again a strong tornado. We can't really tell that on radar. This looks so impressive on radar, it's not impossible that this is a strong tornado. And again, this continues to track up towards the Alvord area. There's Joe right there. He's right in the mix of the spin. Joe, if we can, let's go back to Joe's video. And Joe, you're still on the live line with us. What are you seeing there from your vantage point?
Well, right now I went ahead and turned around and headed back south because I was getting into a lot of heavy rain. Starting to get into some, looks like some possible golf ball sized hail starting to follow me now. But anyway, pretty heavy rain. I'm just trying to get out of it right now. I'm trying to go find another road going back to you.
Okay, Joe. Yeah, you're doing a great job there. It's going to be hard to really get east the way it looks right now. You may have to go all the way back down there to the 380. This is what you may have to do. But this is going to be moving from Chico. It almost appears as though it's picking up speed now. It appears as though it's accelerating some, and it's moving towards the Alvord area. And that's going to be Highway 81, Alvord area, right there along Highway 81, still fairly rural. The main area of spin, it's going to be just north of Decatur. It's going to be just north of Decatur, but if you're in Decatur, you're in the warning, and you need to be taking your immediate tornado precautions. There's Bridgeport. The main area of concern is just north of Bridgeport. And let me make sure we've got we're getting a lot of interference there on the audio. We've got to turn that down. And so as we go back here to the spin rate product, again, you can see the area of yellow there. Again, we've been saying this kind of over and over, but again, this is where the main area of concern is. Let's go back to the velocities. And again, this appears to really still just look really impressive. That's really the only way to put it. I know we hate to say the same thing over and over, but again, this still appears to really just look quite impressive. There's our vortex lock we have right there, the main area of spin and everything wrapping directly around that. And so again, the general motion, again, up towards Highway 81, the Alvord area. And again, here's Decatur down in here. So we're in Wise County. But again, this does look quite concerning. Okay, let's go to the hail core tracker here just quickly as well. And again, Joe's talking about some of that golf ball size hail. When you have a tornado warning, sometimes you're not really worried about hail. You have bigger things to deal with, especially on a storm like this. But let's look at it here. And again, you can see just north of the Chico area, that's the golf ball size hail that Joe's in. And I can tell you, I can hear it in my ear. He's driving through some hail right now. And so, that can be dangerous for our trackers out there as well. But again, Joe's doing a great job. Hail core tracking up there towards the Alvord area for sure. Golf balls possible in Alvord, crossing 81, again, here in Wise County. Let's go back to reflectivity. And again, even on reflectivity, again, you can just see the outline and the spin of the storm. You can see where the storm is breathing in the warm, moist air right here. There's the inflow notch. And again, look at the spiral banding of the hail core. This appears the hail core that we were just talking about with the hail core tracker, the golf ball size hail possible here. Look how it's being spun spirally around in this storm. And again, that just shows you how strong this mesocyclone is. As we go back to the spin rate, again, you can continue to see here that, again, indications are, especially with that yellow, that this continues to be on the ground. And again, that Alvord area, that's the main area of concern right now, again, approaching Highway 81. Joe, you're still on the live line. Guys, I don't know if we can still punch his video up if we have him. Let's check his audio, and let's also, Joe, if you're still on the live line, go and give us an update.
Yeah, I'm still here on the live line. So I went ahead and headed south. I'm going to go back down here to 380 and work my way to the east. There's really no east option roads that kept me safe up there on the other end of that where the circulation was at. We started running into some golf ball size hail, and then we got into pretty heavy winds. We got into the rear flank downdraft area of the storm, and the winds really picked up, and it was getting kind of windy where I was at, real strong. So anyway, right now it's just I'm out of it now. It's raining. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna head east and see if I can see anything when I get east here. Back to you.
Okay, Joe, great report there. Do we still have Chantel on the live line? I know she was just due south of it. Chantel, are you still on there with us? Chantel, go ahead. Give us an update from here. We'll stick with Joe's video here for just a second. Again, he's right there in the Chico area. Hey, Joe, also, if you can still hear me, watch for any type of damage. You were right there where the tornado potentially went through. Let us know if you see any kind of damage in that area. So what we're doing now, we're trying to verify what we're seeing on radar. We're getting strong indications here on radar that there's a tornado on the ground. And it could be a strong tornado from radar indications, but what we have to do, that's what we think is happening. And now what we're doing with our team of storm trackers, this is why it's so important to have storm trackers. We're now verifying. Joe's driving back through the area, back to the south. And again, if he sees damage, well, boom, obviously you had a tornado. Now, if he doesn't see any damage, and that kind of makes you think and makes you look at radar just a little bit more carefully, if you will. But Joe, are you seeing any damage as you're driving back down 101?
Go
ahead.
Yeah, as far as I didn't go as far north as where the tornado crossed. I saw it cross 101, and it was still about a mile north of me. And then the heavy rain and the RFD wind kicked in, so I turned around and headed south. So no, I have not seen any damage. or I haven't seen any tree limbs down, any power lines down, or anything.
Okay, and so you're saying the damage again was just to your north. Let's do this. I interrupted Chantel, and I'm sorry about that, Chantel. It's only because Joe literally was just right there. Tell us where you are now, Chantel. I know you're still on the live line here with us. Give us a quick update from your vantage point as well.
I am on 101 myself too. Kind of heading back into the store. Kind of being precautious. There's, I don't want to get hung up in that baseball size hail either. Right now, I'm not seeing anything, but again, this storm has turned into a very high precipitation storm, which is always very dangerous, especially at nighttime. Again, I'm not seeing anything. Everybody is slamming in front of their brakes in front of me, so I'm having to slow down. My live stream is up and down. This is a very rural area, and I apologize for that. But right here where I'm at is approximately where the tornado would have crossed on 101. I'm not seeing any damage at the moment. That could change. That could be the reason why everybody's slamming approximately 2 miles up in front of me.
Hey, Chantel, if you see, Chantel, do this. If you see anything up there, let us know. If you're kind of driving up there into the path, let us know. I think this was on the ground. I really don't think there's any two ways about it. I think it still is. Let us know if you see any damage. If you're driving north up there into Chino, let us know. Again, if you're seeing any kind of damage up there. I know Joe's jetting south now to get back on 380 to get east on it. Let us know if you see any damage up there. I want to do this. I want to go back to radar here real quick. And let's go and continue to update what's going on here. So what we're talking about is what just happened in the past. We're trying to verify what happened 5-10 minutes ago as this moved through the Chico area. And so now it's basically approaching the Alvord area. And again, this is the Highway 81 corridor. Main area spin is going to be just north of Decatur, but you folks in Decatur are in the warning. You need to be taking your immediate tornado precautions. And again, outside of that, it's a pretty rural area here of Wise County. But again, the immediate concern, again, it is going to be the Alvord area. Let's go back to velocities here. And again, this let's go and center this up if we can. We'll go and kind of center up the radar. And it looks like we may have another warning also coming out. And that may be to our, is that Throckmorton County?
Probably.
So we may be talking about two separate tornado warnings here, folks. I know we're kind of all over the place. We have a lot going on. Tell us where that was, Josh.
That's a severe thunderstorm warning for Palo Pinto and Park.
Okay, so severe thunderstorm warning for Palo Pinto County. We'll get to that here momentarily. Right now, we'll continue with the tornado warning and again what we have going on here. Okay, let's reset this real quick, Copeland, if we can. Let's go and switch over to the main radar, and let's go over to the main radar and we'll zoom it out. And we can use this too. This is just fine here. So again, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex down in here. And again, I know we've got a lot of folks joining us here on Texas Weather Tracker TV. Everyone's wondering what's going on. There's tornado warnings, etc. going on. Number one, the Metroplex. Right now, there's nothing going on in the Metroplex. Again, there's going to be rain, heavy rain overnight. Okay, but right now there's nothing going on. All the active weather is off here to the northwest, and we continue to track what appears to be now a hopscotch tornado, a tornado that's been on the ground, off the ground, on the ground. And again, this appears on radar as though it continues to be on the ground, and it's up here in Wise County. So let's go and zoom into Wise County. We've got two storm trackers here on it. We've got Joe, we've got Chantel. We have video coming in from them. We're going to take a look at that video coming up here momentarily. But again, we've had eyes on this. Even as the initial warning was issued, Chantel had power flashes. Joe's had maybe glimpses of something going on as well. Keep in mind, it's nighttime. Nighttime tornadoes are quite dangerous, obviously because they're hard to see. You have to wait for the lightning to light up the sky in order to see anything. So that's what our storm trackers are having to do out there. But they're doing a great job with it. The red GPS dot, that's Joe. He's getting back on 380, and again, he's going to be jetting over here towards 81. Here's the Alvord area. That's the main area of concern now. Let's go and zoom in here, and we'll go and switch over to our spin rate product as well. And unfortunately, we continue to have indications this is on the ground. So this is Highway 81 here. It just crossed the 101 over here around Chico. And so it appeared as though it was on the ground in Chico. Chantel was going north up into Chico, and we'll see if we get any damage reports from her. Again, Joe's circling back around here on the 380 to stay with the storm. So we've got one tracker checking for damage, one circling back around to stay with the storm. And again, like I mentioned, this is now approaching the Highway 81 corridor. By the way, there's Decatur. A lot of folks familiar with Decatur. Again, the main area of spin going to be staying just north of Decatur, but it's going to be coming into the Alvord area there. It's coming in about the next 5 minutes or so. Let's go to velocities. And again, even as we do that, we'll zoom in just a little bit tighter if we can here. And as we do that, Again, this is still just a very well pronounced, this is what we call a couplet, an area of spin. This is a high velocity area of spin. Just to kind of show you what we're talking about here, the area of red is wind basically directly coming into the storm. The area of green is it circling back around, and that's where you get the area of spin. But you can even tell with the colors. Look at the banding. Look at the bright red banding directly around and into this. And again, of course, right there, that's where we have the vortex lock. It's a little hard to see that icon. That's the vortex lock right there in the middle of the mesocyclone. Let's go over to the debris tracker again. And so good news, right now we're not picking up on any debris. Just west of Chico, we did have some debris being lofted up in the air. We had some signatures on here, which were debris. We had some debris being lifted up into the air. Right now we're not picking that up. That might be a good thing. But again, here on radar, this still looks quite concerning, and especially coming in there to the Alvord area. Again, if you know anyone, again, I totally understand this is a small hometown, rural area, but if you know anyone, friends, family, loved ones who live there, you need to call and text them. They have like 0 seconds left to really get to their safe place. Again, as this, what appears to be a tornado on the ground, is going to be crossing Highway 81. Okay, let's go back to the spin rate. And what this is a specific computer algorithm. It takes all the data that we look at here on radar, it condenses it down, and it lets us know where the best area of spin is. Green, yellow, it goes to pink. And again, anytime you have yellow, and this has been my experience using this now for several years, anytime you have a yellow on here, I know this sounds basic, just the color yellow, but that's the way you read this specific product. If you have yellow, that means there's a tornado on the ground. We continue with the vortex lock here as well. And again, this continues to, it appears as though it's even accelerating some now, as it's going to be crossing the Highway 81 corridor, and again, becoming there through the Alvord area. Joe, you're just to the south of this. You've been tracking this very carefully. I hear you still there on the live line. Tell us where you are now. I believe you're on the 380 just south of it. Give us an update. We may also punch your video up if we have that as well.
All right. So, yes, I'm on 380, and I'm coming up to Decatur. Looking to the north, I can't really see a whole lot. I can see the wall cloud back in there. I cannot tell if there's anything on the ground still. Can't tell if there's any rotation or anything hanging down. There is some significant lightning. The lightning kind of comes and goes. It intensifies, then it goes away, and then it gets real strong again. So it's kind of like the lightning cycles up and down. So right now, my plan is to get over here to Decatur, and there's a highway that runs diagonal to the northeast toward Gainesville, and I'm going to plan on going over there and try to get back out kind of in front of this thing again and see if I can get another close-up shot at it. Back to you.
Okay, Joe, really appreciate that update right there. Again, doing a great job. Now, the good news is here, it looks like the latest scan, the latest sweep we just had, and we may punch that back up, and we're going to be back and forth with Joe's video. And Chantel, if you have anything new to report from over there around Chico, any damage, let me know, and we'll get right back to Chantel as well. But the area of yellow got smaller. And so, again, I know it sounds basic, but that's the way you have to read this product. If this yellow begins to go away, that may signify a weakening trend. Let's go and look at velocities here too. Let's look at the raw data coming in. The raw data still looks pretty concerning. Now, it's easing back some. This may be cycling down just some. But again, I will tell you, this storm here on velocities has been one of the most impressive storms I've seen in 2 years. This goes all the way back to Oklahoma. And again, there's other parts in the country that you will never see anything like this. But again, just the inbound wind into the storm, the spiral banding red into the storm, spinning back around with the green. This has been a very impressive high velocity couplet. And again, it'll be very interesting tomorrow. Luckily, this has gone through a lot of rural area. But this will be very interesting tomorrow to go back through and see where there was damage and what type of damage with this. But even as we look here at velocities, this may be trying to ease down some. It's coming through the Alvord area right now. We've still got a vortex lock. Computer saying right there's the area of spin right there, showing it's just crossed 81, and so it's going to be now kind of on the eastern and southeastern sides of Alvord, but the main mesocyclone directly over Alvord. Let's also hit the hail core tracker. Let's briefly look at the hail core tracker, and again, still big hail possible. And Joe was up in what he appeared to be some golf balls earlier over here around the Chico area. And so it looks like golf balls are still quite possible on the northern sides of town, Alvord to the north, up there on 81. Let's go back to reflectivity. And again, you can still see where the inflow notch of this storm is. One of the most important things, whenever you're looking at radar and you're talking about tornado potential in a storm, a mesocyclone has to breathe in rich, warm, unstable air. It's like a living, breathing machine. Its mouth has to be open. And on this storm right here, you can still see that. This is the inflow notch. This is where the warm, moist, unstable air is coming in. And again, you can see the open mouth right there. That's the open mouth right there. But as it comes in, you can also see the hail being spun back around there as well. So even using radar, that's really how you dissect these storms. And if you ever begin to see the inflow notch closing where it's not able to breathe in that warm, moist air, that can signify a weakening trend on the storm. That's a really important thing you always look for, again, when you're looking at these on radar. And that's what we're monitoring here as well. But at least right now, it still appears as though the storm is getting a fairly good fetch here of warm, moist air. Let's go back to velocities, and then we'll check Joe's video again momentarily as well. These may be easing down some, but I can tell you the overall couplet is getting tighter. The area of spin, the mesocyclone itself, is getting smaller. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's weakening. That can mean that it's actually even ramping up a little bit tighter. We'll see if that trend holds, but the actual mesocyclone is condensing down and getting a little bit tighter. But again, this has crossed 81 now. It's crossed all the way through the Alvord area. The main area of spin, the core of this may have been just south of Alvord, so we're going to track that. Joe, I still hear you on the live line. I know you're down there on the 380. Let's check Joe's audio, and there's his video. Joe, tell us where you are. You may be coming into Decatur now. Tell us where you are now, Joe.
Yeah, you're correct. I am coming into Decatur on 380, coming up to 287. Right now, we got some light rain in Decatur. Really enough. The wind's calm. Just watching to the north and trying to plan my my route at this point. At nighttime when I chase, I like to try to think ahead. Strategy if I get up there and get in a bind. So right now, I'm looking at a road network that moves me to the northeast, to try to get back in line with the storm. I think I've something here up ahead, and I should be able to head that way, and I do see a few east-west options on that route. So we're going to try to get back up in there and try to get close to it, see if we can get a good peek at it before it kind of gets away from us and gets into some of that area where there's not a really good road network. So,
okay, Joe, really appreciate that update. Now, I am getting a few reports coming in here, and let's go and take a look at a few of these reports coming in. Now, Bridgeport Fire and PD, they're also reporting some trees down in their city. Now, the main area of spin was just north of Bridgeport, but that doesn't mean there couldn't have been some high-velocity winds around the mesocyclone itself. But again, there has been some damage reported now in the Bridgeport area. But again, the main area of spin, the main threat of tornadic activity was actually north of the Bridgeport area. But again, we are getting some damage reports now coming in. And I'm just looking through some other things here. If there's anything else coming in, again, bear with me. We're doing this in real time. Power flashes are being reported around the Alvord area. That was a few minutes ago. Obviously, we know that moved through the Alvord area over the last 5 minutes. Again, just looking at anything else coming in here off the weather wire. And so that's essentially it for right now. So again, we're getting some reports of damage. Again, this was down around the Bridgeport area. That was actually south of where the actual main area of spin was. If we can, Copeland, we'll zoom this out just a touch here, and I'll show you where Bridgeport is. And so we'll zoom that out. And so Bridgeport actually being back over in here, and Bridgeport being right back down in here. And so we had some damage there. Now, again, the main area of spin went through the Chico area right through here. And again, that's where we also had the report of some power flashes. But again, there was some, what appears to be some tree damage as far south as even the Bridgeport area. Again, this was over about the last 30 minutes or so. Okay, let's go back to the spin right here. And let's go and get an update on what we have going on. Maybe some good news. Let's zoom in. And this may be easing back some. And so this would be great news if this trend holds. So again, with this product, when you don't have the yellow, you only have green, that is at least a signal that this may be trying to weaken some. This may be good news. The unfortunate thing is it's already moved through the Alvord area and through the Chico area, and I think there was at least an opportunity of some tornadic activity through those areas. So this is now pushing east of the Highway 81 corridor. Let's look at velocities again here. And again, velocity. So we are seeing a weakening trend. We still have good inbound. The storm is still breathing nicely. You can see the spiral banding of red coming in, but again, the return flow here just simply not as strong in the green. And so the mesocyclone is becoming a little disorganized here. The mesocyclone is becoming a little wobbly here. And so this is definitely a weakening trend that we're seeing. Okay, if we can, let's go to the other radar. And I want to zoom this out and let's see if we can do a timeline here of this storm. And again, there's another pretty decent presentation there of what we were seeing there on the spin rate. If we can, let's just in real time, guys, if we can, let's do a timeline on this storm, and we'll just take it on off there to the northeast. I'm going to step over here. I'm just going to look at some more data coming in while we're putting that together. Copeland and Josh doing a great job over there working on it together. So Sanger at 10:28 and Valley View at 10:29. So that's going to be the general timeline, and that's going to be tracking it over there towards the I-35 corridor. So again, right now where it is around the Alvord area, it's going to be tracking it all the way over there towards Valley View, and again potentially towards Sanger. Again, if it does hold together. But again, right now, tornado warning again continues there for the Wise County area. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go. Let's hit the spin rate on this one if we can, and we'll take another look here and see if this trend of at least weakening trend continues, which would be good. Now, again, we call these cyclic supercells because sometimes they'll cycle down, but they'll cycle right back up. So this is what we really got to watch. And so again, you can see the blinking red box here, tornado warning here. And so again, this is the spin rate tracker. Again, this is something you only see here on Texas Weather Tracker TV. You're not seeing this anywhere else in the Metroplex or North Texas. And again, this is an algorithm the computer uses. It takes all the data and shows you where the best area of spin is. Let's go and switch over to the other radar if we can. There's just a new sweep coming in on this one. Let's hit the spin rate on this one. And we'll zoom in a little bit here too. And again, it's right there around the Alvord area, just east of the Alvord area, east of Highway 81. And again, the area of green, that's the spin rate. Now, again, it continues to ease down, by the way, it looks to me. And in fact, the vortex lock continues here. Let's go and look at the velocities. Let's go and look at the raw data again. And as we look at the raw data, we've still got strong inbound coming in, but again, it's just the back flow, the return flow for the area of spin. It's just not looking quite as strong. Again, it's just looking a little more wobbly. So we're going to continue the tornado warning now for Cooke and Cooke County and also Wise County, and this is going to be until 7:45. Hey, if we can, let's go and zoom it all the way out. So Cooke, Montague, and Wise County. Again, this is until 10:45. And I just want to give an overview again, guys. And I hate to keep going back and forth, but I know as people are joining, they're wondering exactly what's going on and where this is. And so if we can, we'll just zoom this out and just show an overview. And this is the new warning just being plotted there. So again, here's the Metroplex down in here. Right now, it's quiet in the Metroplex. There will be rain and storms moving in from the west. There could be some isolated severe weather with that in the Metroplex. But again, the main area of concern, the tornado warning that we've been dealing with, that is off to the north of the Metroplex. It's now north of Denton, but it's going to be approaching the I-35 corridor. So let's go and zoom in here. And again, you can see the brand new severe thunderstorm warning here. So for Wise, Montague, and also Cooke County here, brand new tornado warning. And again, this is going to be in effect here, again, until 10:45. Again, Cooke, Montague, and Wise County until 10:45. And again, so Weather Service basically just continuing the warning that we've been dealing with. Let's see, so we've got a new timeline on here. So Lindsay at 10:26, and if it holds together, Gainesville at 10:29. So again, this storm continues to kind of pick up speed some. Again, a lot of folks familiar with the Gainesville area. That's going to be heading up there towards the Oklahoma border, Red River Valley there. So again, this storm is accelerating now to the northeast at right around 35 to 40 miles per hour. Let's go back to the spin rate. Let's go back in and take a look inside this storm. I do think this storm has produced tornadic activity. It may have been a hopscotch tornado, meaning up and down, or it may have been a tornado that was on the ground, maybe for a couple miles, especially as it was coming through the Chico area and then also back over through the Alvord area as well. I believe we still have Joe on the live line, and if we can check Joe's audio, let's see if we have any video coming in from him. Joe, tell us where you are now, and go ahead and give us a live update. And we may have lost Joe. Let's see if we still have Joe on the live line. We may have lost Joe. We've got his video coming in, but let's see if we still have Joe on there at all. Joe? It doesn't. We don't have Joe, do we? Okay, so that's fine. We're going to check back in with Joe. We still have his video coming in. Joe will join us again on the live line again coming up here in just a few minutes. We got some new data also coming in here. And let's see. And we're just getting at least. Okay, so we are getting reports here of some damage, and again, this is going to be around the Graham area. So we're going to check back in with this. That appears to be some damaging wind gust around the Graham area, and again, some houses were damaged in that area. We may have Joe back on the line. Joe, are you with us? Or is yeah, Joe, go and tell us where you are. We're just looking over a lot of data coming in here. We're even getting a few storm reports coming in here now as well. Tell us where you are now.
The road I'm on takes me to Gainesville. I'm just south, probably just south and a little bit deep circulation in this storm cell. Looking back over there, I've seen a lot of lightning, but the rain has really got my view obstructed. So I can't really see anything back at this point. So, like I said, it's rain. That road goes right this minute. Back to you.
Okay, Joe, really appreciate that update. What I want to do real quickly, I want to come back down to the southwest, down towards Mineral Wells. And what we're going to do, we're going to break from this storm just real quick. There's another storm down towards Mineral Wells that's severe with some 70-mile-per-hour winds. And so we're going to move the radar. We're going to get that recentered up down there. And so again, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning here. And part of this is going to be for Paladin. We're just going to keep switching the radars around here until we get the right one pulled up there. And so again, I'm just looking through the information coming in. So again, severe thunderstorm warning down here. And again, there is an opportunity of some 70-mile-per-hour winds. And, you know, we are getting a little notch even on this here as well. Let's go and hit velocities. And so, again, for the folks on Mineral Wells and even Highway 281, right now this is only severe with 70-mile-per-hour winds possible. But, again, these are outbound winds here, okay? And what I mean by that is the Dallas radar that we're looking at. The Dallas radar is back over here. And so we're getting this bow line of winds coming out. So the green are winds heading towards the radar, and there may be an opportunity of some 70-plus mile-per-hour winds in the bright green, and that's going to be coming into Mineral Wells and Highway 281. You see that? So again, high-velocity winds, again, coming in there to the Mineral Wells area. Do we still have Chantel on the line at all with us? We may have lost Chantel.
I'm still here.
Chantel, are you heading back towards the Mineral Wells area? Let me know which way you're going.
No, I'm currently in Alvord, about 5 miles north of Alvord.
Let us know, what are you seeing in the Alvord area? Again, that's where we just had the tornado. And again, I know we're doing all this real fast, folks, on the fly, so bear with us here. We're kind of switching in between storms. But the Alvord is where we had the tornado warning, tornado potentially passed through town. Are you in town, Chantel? Can you update us on any damage or anything you're seeing there at all?
Yeah, I'm in town. The only damage I've seen is a few tiny limbs, probably just from normal winds. Nothing that looks tornadic at all. Sorry if my audio is not too great. My phone was about to die. I had to plug it in, undo the headset. But I can't see anything. I have not had a lightning strike within like the last 2 minutes, so I have absolutely no idea about anything or where anything is right now.
Okay, Chantel, really appreciate that update. We're going to get back to you coming up again here just momentarily. And so again, if you do see anything up there, just let us know. We want to get back to the tornado warning here momentarily as well. But this is a heads up, though, for our friends here in Mineral Wells, because these are going to be some 70-mile-per-hour winds coming in and some 1-inch hail. But again, this is what you call a bow segment. And even along these bow segments with this tornado watch in effect, and I just want to put this out there, it's not impossible along these bow segments to get some quick spin-ups along the leading edge. But the biggest concern right now coming into Mineral Wells, these are 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And we've got a time of arrival here, and that's fine. If we just took it off, that's fine. But again, that's going to be coming right on in there to Mineral Wells, again, with some 70-mile-per-hour winds, again, here as we go over the next 10 minutes or so. Okay, let's go back up to our tornado warned storm. And again, I know we're kind of all over the place here with a lot of different stuff going on. And we'll go back up to the other storm here. And I was actually just making sure my batteries are probably going to be dying. I may have to switch my batteries coming up here just momentarily. So I just don't want to lose my audio. And so, okay, so now we've switched from down around the Mineral Wells area, talking about severe thunderstorm warning down in Mineral Wells, 70-mile-per-hour winds possible. We've now switched back up here into portions of north central North Texas, Red River Valley up through here, Gainesville here, I-35 corridor right through here. And again, we continue with our tornado warned storm. Joe is still on this storm. He's just south of this storm, and he's going to be coming in towards the Gainesville area. And so again, we continue with a tornado warning here. And again, this is going to be for portions of Wise, Montague, and Wise County, and Cooke County. I'm sorry, I said the same one twice. Cooke, Montague, and Wise County until 7:45. And again, there's an opportunity, at least still, of some tornadic activity. And again, bear with me, we're just getting a lot of information coming in over here. Let's go back to the spin rate here. And as we take a look at the spin rate on this storm here, we'll take a look inside of it. And let's switch over to the other radar. And again, this still looks quite impressive. This may be trying to re-intensify here. And let's go and zoom in just a little bit more on it here. And this is coming into Montague County right now, then eventually Cooke County here, lifting out of Wise County. And again, this may have been a hopscotch tornado. This tornado may have been on the ground for a couple miles, but there has been tornadic activity with this storm. And again, it's not even impossible with this one, especially as it was back over near the Chico area. Not impossible, it was a strong tornado, meaning EF3. Now, you have to go out and actually survey to get those ratings. And we understand that, obviously. But again, just basing it off a radar, it's not impossible. There was maybe a strong EF3 type tornado over there. So, okay, let's, right now we're getting pretty rural here. There's no immediate hometowns. We'll zoom this out just some. And so again, as this comes through Montague County, it's really no hometowns, to be honest with you. This is a rural area. There could be some farm homes and stuff through here. We understand that. But again, this will be moving over here into Cooke County fairly quick. There's Leo right there. And let's go back over to velocities. And at least the good news is, if you're going to have some type of tornadic activity in a rural area where essentially no one lives, that would be where you want to have it. Now, the couplet here, not looking quite as impressive. It's looking a little wobbly from where it was. Now, about 20 minutes ago, very impressive couplet. Again, that's when we most likely had the tornado on the ground. And we'll push into this just a little bit closer here, Josh or Copeland. And as we push into this, even our tornadic vortex signature that we had, what we call a TVS, tornadic vortex signature, we no longer have that. Again, the couplet just looking a little bit more raggedy. Still a pronounced area of spin. This still means business. This is still serious. This is still dangerous. But at least right now, the good news is, again, it's in this really rural area of Montague County, again, as it continues to push over here towards Cooke County. Let's go back to the spin rate. And again, with the spin rate, also good news here as well. Again, where we had the areas of yellow just a little bit earlier, which signifies most likely a tornado on the ground. We're no longer seeing that. In fact, we're just seeing the greens. And again, we also don't have the tornado vortex signature. So maybe some good news here. But let's go, if we can, maybe over to the other radar, and let's do another timeline on where this is moving right now, at least as we go over the next 30 minutes, because again, it is going to be approaching the I-35 corridor. And so as we do that, here's the I-35 corridor, here's Gainesville. We're also going to talk with Joe coming up here momentarily as well. And again, Joe continues to be on this storm. So it's coming into the Lindsay area right about 10:27, Gainesville 10:29, Oak Ridge right around 10:32, and then again, if it holds its intensity, it's going to be approaching the Sadler area right around 10:38. But again, this is going to be moving up into the Red River Valley. Hey, Joe, if you're still on the live line with us, tell us where you are now and give us an update.
On this highway that runs pretty much parallel to kind of northeast side of Decatur, it goes to Gainesville, approximately 23 miles from Gainesville. Trying to get up alongside the storm again and see if I can take another peek and look into the rotation area of the storm. I'm not sure if you're picking me up or not. Kind of signals kind of in and out over here. So. Back to you if you can still hear me.
Okay, Joe, we got you loud and clear, so and really appreciate that update. We're going to switch this real quick, Joe. You're doing a great job there. I want to go back to our Mineral Wells storm. We had a report of a possible tornado here, and like I said, when you get these high velocity winds coming in, it's not impossible to get a brief spin up. And so this was going to be, and I believe this was, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong here, this was just north of Palo Pinto. And so this was just a few minutes ago. So this was just north of Palo Pinto. And again, it was at least a report of a possible tornado. And so again, this storm a little bit different. It's not the classic supercell that we were just dealing with and have been dealing with. Again, this is a segment. This is what we call a bow segment of high velocity winds near 70 plus miles per hour. And again, sometimes you can get a brief spin up along the leading edge. That is moving through Mineral Wells. right now. So that is currently moving through the Mineral Wells area. And as we're looking at the timeline here, it's going to be moving into Cool right around 1022 and Millsap around 1023. And then again, if it holds together there just north of I-20 towards the Weatherford area right around 1038. If we can, let's look at velocities on this one. And as we get the velocities, it may take it just a second to load there. We'll look at the velocities. And again, we'll look at these winds coming in. So we're getting velocities just painted on there. And if we, you know what, let's switch over to the other radar, Josh. I just think we get a better presentation from it. And so this is a compact area of high velocity winds coming right into Mineral Wells. And the reason why we know that, the reason why we say that is the radar's over in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, right, over off to the east. This area of green you're seeing right here, these are inbound winds, meaning they're moving towards the radar. And look at this bow segment line of wind coming out of the storm. So as wind comes out and as it hits the ground, it fans out like that. You can see this fan feature, right? So as the wind is blowing out towards the radar, see how it's fanning out like that? These are high velocity winds. These could easily be over 70 miles per hour. There could be some damage going on here coming into the Mineral Wells area. That's going to be crossing right there along Highway 281. So high velocity winds here. And again, like I said, there's an outside opportunity there as well that we could have a brief spin-up tornado. It's going to be a completely different story than the tornado-warned storm we were dealing with when we have the mesocyclone. This right here would only be a brief spin-up along the leading edge. And by the way, Palo Pinto is right back over in here. That's where we at least have the report of a possible, again, brief spin-up. But again, Mineral Wells also can be concerning when you're talking about, again, some 70-plus mile per hour straight-line winds. But again, you know, we had the really crazy looking couplet with the storm to the north earlier that again you just don't see. It was wound up so tightly. This also is a very good presentation of again straight line winds. If you look at this here, almost textbook classic again of these winds fanning out from the storm and again coming right through the Mineral Wells area again. So as the winds come down, hit the ground, they fan out. And again, that's just what we're seeing here. Some of the stuff we're seeing tonight is just uncanny here in North Texas. These are some big time severe storms. Okay, let's go back to reflectivity here one more time too. And so again, even outside of the wind threat, there is some heavy rain threat. Let's also quickly check the hail core tracker here, guys, if we can. And so there is also some hail coming through here. Weather Service is saying quarters. This could be some half dollars coming through. Could be some half dollars coming through again right down here around the Mineral Wells area. And again, that's going to be crossing Highway 281 again as we essentially go over the next 10 minutes or so. Also right there around the Salesville area. Again, could be some hail coming in, but at least the most concerning part of that, this storm here, again, it's going to be those 70-plus mile per hour winds again coming through Mineral Wells. Okay, let's go back up to the north. Let's go back up to our tornado warned storm. And severe thunderstorm warning continues here for the Mineral Wells area as well. How long was that warning, guys, for Mineral Wells? Do we know? We'll check on that one. Had just been issued a few minutes ago. And so we'll check on that. But just to pass that along, the severe thunderstorm warning there, and in fact, I'll check it right over here. Severe thunderstorm warning does continue there. And again, it does continue until 1045. As how long that's been issued. And again, that does include the Mineral Wells area. Okay, let's go back up to the north. And again, we continue to talk about this tornado warned storm. And again, tornado warning also continues up here until 1045. Blinking red box. Probably don't have to tell you that's where the tornado warning is. And so again, from Wise through Montague all the way up through here through Cooke County, again, that's where the main area of concern is. Really, it's fairly rural here in Montague County. As it gets into Cooke County, it'll be just a little more concerning. And again, as we put the timeline on there, at least a cone of danger, if you will. Again, Lindsay, right around 1033, Gainesville, 1035, Oak Ridge, 1038, Thackerville, which is right there where the WinStar Casino is, by the way, right around 1038. And then up towards Whitesboro, 1042, and Sadler, 1044. Let's go on this one, if we can. Let's switch the radars and then go to the spin rate. And again, this is a storm we've been tracking for quite some time. And again, this has had a history of producing tornadic activity. And so again, this essentially lifted through Jack County, Wise County, and again now continues to lift through Montague, now up into portions of Cooke County, and this may eventually just lift up into portions of Oklahoma. Now I can tell you the good news right now, the spin rate is nowhere near where it was. It's nowhere near where it was. Let's look at the raw data, let's look at the velocities. And even as we look at the velocities, this is looking wobbly. meaning it's nowhere near as intense. It's still got a lot of inbound. The storm is still breathing in fairly well. So the red in this situation, it's away from the radar, so it's into the storm. But again, it's nowhere near wrapped as tightly as it was. And then also your return into the mesocyclone, the area of green, again, nowhere near as pronounced. So again, this storm, it appears right now to be weakening. We don't want to take away from the tornado warning. Tornado warning continues until 10:45. You've got to take your tornado precautions for sure, but just analyzing it in real time, it appears to be easing down some. Joe's been on this storm essentially for the life of it. Joe, tell us where you are now. If you're still on the live line, we'll take a look at your video here as well. Do we still have Joe on the live line? Okay, and there's going to be a new tornado warning coming out. Let's go and take a look at that storm. So we're going to break from that, and we've got a new tornado warning here coming out. Let's go and center that up. Okay, and that's going to be for our straight line windstorm coming out there. So moving through the Jacksboro area. So again, this is the same storm we've been watching with some of the higher velocity winds here. And so again, this is going to be just north specifically of that storm. So again, we've got the storm down here in the Mineral Wells area we were talking about. Now just to the north of it, again, we're going to have a new tornado warning. It's going to pop up right here. And I'll let you know how long that goes. Let me just go and take a look as that's coming up right now. And again, this is going to be until 11 p.m. So this is going to be for Jack County. And again, right now, this is going to be a radar indicated area of rotation within this storm. So let's do this, guys, if we can. Let's go and hit the spin rate here. And again, so this is going to be for Jack County. It's going to be right down in here. So there's our area spin. Let's go and look at velocities here, too. Let's go and look at the raw data. And we'll zoom in just some. Jacksboro is included in this warning, by the way. And by the way, if we get Joe back on the live line, let's talk to Joe up there around Gainesville. I know he was pretty rural, and so we may be losing him in and out. And also Chantel, if we have Chantel, I know she was going into Alvord to potentially look at some tornado damage. If we have her on the line, we'll talk to her. This also looks concerning, guys. We've got a real big area of spin coming back up here, and this may be tracking up here towards Jacksboro, and this is coming right down 380. Let's zoom in to this just a little bit closer if we can, Josh and Copeland. So this is another tight couplet, and this came up really fast, but again, this is it. So again, this is the wind coming into the storm, wrapping back around, and this is another high velocity couplet coming up fast. And so this is tracking up towards Jacksboro. Let's look at the spin rate again. As we look at the spin rate, so right now we're not getting any yellow showing up, but again, the spin rate picking up on this now as well. And again, the general motion here is going to be tracking up towards 380. Let's roll this into motion so we can get a track on this storm. And this is just kind of running this through time here. And again, here's Highway 380. And so again, yeah, there it is. So it's essentially going to be lifting northeast. It's going to be lifting up towards Jacksboro. So again, that's going to be the concern with this storm. It's going to lift right up 380 and skirt right up towards Jacksboro. And this one's coming up fast. This is not necessarily new development as in rain. The rain's been there, but the mesocyclone within it, this is new mesocyclone development. And it came up just south there of Bryson over the last 10 minutes or so, and it's tracking right up 380. So let's do a timeline on the other radar if we can with this one. And as soon as we have Joe back on the line, we'll talk to Joe on the Gainesville storm, and then we'll also update our friends down there in Mineral Wells on some of those 70-mile-per-hour winds that are coming through town as well. So cone of danger here, and again, this is moving essentially through Jack County, but again, basically moving, we'll have to pull that timeline if we can there, Josh. There we go. So 1027, Jacksboro. Chico, again, it's going to be moving through almost the exact same area. How uncanny is this? Chico, who we had at least potential tornado over the last 30 minutes. Alvord, also a potential tornado as well over the last 30 minutes. Moving back there again right around the 10:45 time frame. Again, if it maintains its strength and intensity. So again, double dose for some folks today as far as the severe weather threat goes. And unfortunately, it's in the form of a tornado warning. But at least right now, the tornado warning there for the Jacksboro County. Do we still have Chantel on the line at all? Because Chantel, now you were on the 380, I think, earlier. Tell us where you are now and give us an update.
I am on 1655 heading towards Jacksboro.
Okay, perfect. So you're coming right into Jacksboro. That's exactly what we need there. So Chantel on her way into Jacksboro, and then as we get Joe back on the live line, he's up in Gainesville. So again, what we're doing, we're just coordinating. You can see that here. We're coordinating with our storm trackers, making sure they're on the tornado warned storms. They're doing a great job doing that. They're pretty rural, so obviously their videos in and out. In these rural areas, there's nothing we can do. Just like if you were trying to watch a YouTube or something, you can't play it. It's because there's no cell service. That's their problem, trying to get the video back into us. But again, we see Chantel driving. Chantel, tell us again exactly where you are.
I am on 1655, heading toward Runaway Bay, and then I'm going to go from Runaway Bay to 281, and then I'll be in Jacksboro.
Okay, yeah, you're perfect route there, and so you're basically coming right on in to the area of spin. This is a small, compact area of spin, but this does look concerning because it continues to enhance. And of course, the other problem this time of day is the fact it's nighttime. And again, you're seeing what our storm trackers are seeing. There's not much. It's all black. It's hard to see anything there at all. Let's go back to radar. Chantel, we're going to check back in with you coming up. But let's go back to the spin rate here if we can on this one. And so again, this is one that's come up fast. The area of spin, it's a small, compact area, but it is quite concerning the way it's coming up, and it's coming right up Highway 380. And we can switch over to the other radar if we want. It presents a little bit better, I think, there on XR if we can. And so we'll take a look at the other radar. Okay, there we go. So that's the area of spin right there. No real change to it. We'll zoom in on it. There's not a real big change to it, again, as it continues to come up Highway 380 towards Jacksboro. But again, you folks in Jacksboro, you've got to be taking your immediate tornado precautions. Again, if this does try and produce any type of tornadic activity, you can see the general motion there would take it right up into Jacksboro. Okay, let's go back to our northern storm. We're going to back out of this one. So again, we're talking about two different tornado-warned storms. Real quick, guys, and I hate to be all over the place. If we can, let's go down to Mineral Wells just real quick. I want to give another update for that. And again, that's where we have the 70-mile-per-hour winds. Again, I know we're jumping around, but we're trying to cover all the different areas that are warned. Two tornado warnings. This is just a severe thunderstorm warning here. And let's hit the velocities just real quick. And here are the 70-mile-per-hour winds. They're already through Mineral Wells, Highway 281, Mineral Wells here. And so again, these high-velocity winds will continue to track to the east there. But again, the main concern with this storm, it is the high-velocity winds. These are straight-line winds here in the green, bright green, you see it. And again, those are 70-plus mile-per-hour winds. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning here. And again, so we'll continue to track that as well. So kind of three areas of concern, two tornado warnings, and one storm we're dealing just with some high velocity winds. And those have already come through the Mineral Wells area. Okay, now let's go back up to the north. And again, I apologize for jumping the radar all around here, but we'll go back up to the north. And again, this is where we continue with this tornado warning. There's Joe's live GPS. He's right there in the mix. I don't know if we have him back on the live line, but he was so rural we may have lost him. He was tracking up here towards Gainesville. But again, Montague, Cooke County, tornado warning continues here. Let's hit the spin rate. Now, this is the one that moved through Chico and through Alvord and may have been some type of tornadic activity. This one continues to spin down. This one continues to spin down, and that's good. We'll zoom in. This is the old area spin here. It's going to be tracking just north of Leo. And the spin rate tracker here, again, this is something you only see on Texas Weather Tracker TV. It combines all the radar products, puts it all together, and tells us where the best area of spin or where the potential tornado is. And again, this is looking pretty wimpy from where it was. Let's go look at the velocities. This will be the raw data, the raw wind inside the storm. And again, it's still breathing in. We've still got good inbound, but the wraparound here, the green, no longer really showing up. So again, just not as concerning looking on radar from where it was. This thing was really wrapped up and meant business about 30 minutes ago. Now again, that is not to take away from the tornado warning. We'll zoom this out. Let's get a few more hometowns here. This is pretty rural, but let's see if we can get any more hometowns in this warning. And again, essentially from Leo, again, all the way back over towards the I-35 corridor. It looks like just short of the I-35 corridor. Again, tornado warning continues. You can kind of see this swirl, this banding. Again, this is the inflow coming into the storm. But again, the mesocyclone stalling on the back end. We're just not getting the green wrap back into it. So again, right now, this mesocyclone is looking a little wobbly, and it's just not looking quite as intense. By any chance, do we have Joe back on the live line? Okay, so we don't have Joe. We'll continue to check in with Joe. Do we have his video by any chance?
Nope.
Okay, so Joe's just really rural, and we'll get stuff from Joe coming in again here momentarily. That's where Joe is. That's his live GPS. And again, he said he was tracking up towards Gainesville, so he's kind of moving in that general direction. He was on a back road, and so he should be up in there, and we'll be talking with him coming up momentarily. But again, this is where that area of spin was, and continues to be, again, as it continues to lift northeast. Let's do a quick timeline on this too, and let's go and call out some cities here, some general hometowns of where this one is at least tracking to. Again, this one, it's gotten pretty rural now. There's just not a lot of hometowns in general where it is. But again, Leo and also, so Lindsay and Gainesville appear to be the main hometowns here. Now, Gainesville is actually not in the warning. It's just outside of this tornado warning. But again, Lindsay and Gainesville, again, general timeline here. Lindsay, 1047, Gainesville, 1052, and then Oak Ridge, 1057. Again, if it holds together, there's the cone of danger right there. And again, there's I-35, Gainesville, again, if it does hold together. But again, you can see some of those hometowns just simply outside of the warning. And again, we'll see if the Weather Service does continue that warning. Again, right now, not to take away from the tornado warning, but it does appear as though this storm is just easing down some, and it's just not quite as intense as it was, again, maybe 45 minutes ago, especially when it was moving through the small hometown of Chico, and it looked like there was some tornadic activity around the Chico area. Let's look at the spin rate on this radar here if we can too. And as we get that loaded up, we'll take a look and see what it's showing here. And even the spin rate here, again, just not looking quite as concerning. So again, we're just saying this in real time. We're not saying not as concerning to take away from the tornado warning. We're just saying in real time what we're seeing here on radar compared to where we were 45 minutes ago. Again, just not quite as concerning. And again, where you're seeing kind of this brighter green, a lot of times as you start getting into the reds on this one, that's when it becomes a little more concerning. And right now, we're just not quite at that threshold right now. But again, if you're in those areas, you've still got to be taking your immediate tornado precautions. One more time, by any chance, do we have Joe back on the line? Because Joe's up here in this area. Okay, so still no Joe. That's fine. We'll check back in with Joe coming up here momentarily. Okay, let's go back down to our new warning. Let's come back down here to our new warning in Jackson County. This is down here around the Jacksboro area. And so this is a backside mesocyclone. Let's go to the spin rate, and we may need to, and let's do the timeline here. Good call on that. So Jacksboro, right around 1032. Again, Chico, the same town that potentially had tornadic activity earlier in the day. Also Alvord, who also had tornadic activity potentially earlier in the day. Again, still within this cone of danger, not within the warning right now, but within at least the general path of this storm. Jacksboro, 1032. And again, Chico, 1051, again, if it does hold together. Let's look at the spin rate. And again, if we can do that, spin rate just not looking quite as impressive here. If we can, let's also look at the velocities, the raw data. And I know we've got Chantel coming in on this one. Here it is. It's that backside, real small, compact little couplet. Let's look at XR. Let's look at the other radar. This one came up fast, but it may just not be. It may just not be really maintaining itself. This is it. It's a real small meso here on the back side, but it's coming into Jacksboro. So again, if you're in Jacksboro, you have friends, family, relatives in the Jacksboro area, they need to still be taking their immediate tornado precautions. It's a backside mesocyclone here. Hey, Chantel, are you still on the live line with us?
Yes, sir.
Chantel, go ahead. Tell us where you are. I believe you were there on the 380, but tell us where you are now. And again, give us an update as this at least tornado-warned storm is now moving into the Jacksboro area.
Okay, I am on 380 and I am heading towards Jacksboro. I'm kind of going to intercept the storm, it looks like. I'm approximately probably 2 miles outside of Runaway Bay. Again, heading toward Jacksboro on 380. And then from there, I'm probably going to head north and kind of follow the storm from behind. I don't like, personally, diving head first into a storm. It can cause a lot of problems, especially at nighttime. Back to you.
Okay, Chantel, really appreciate that update there, and we'll also check your video coming in too. I know you're pretty rural, and we'll try and get your video coming in, but you're just on the back side of this Runaway Bay. You're just, literally just east of this storm, so you're in good position, and so we'll continue to essentially check in with you again here as we go over the next few minutes as well. And let's do this. Let's go ahead and let's switch back over to the other radar if we can. Okay, so there may be a possible rain-wrapped tornado here. So let's, again, these what we call backside mesocyclones, they're always concerning. And the reason why is a lot of times they're involved in rain. And let's go back. We're getting a report here of a possible rain wrap tornado on the backside. Chantel, that's a heads up for you too of a possible rain wrap. So make sure you're paying extra special attention down there around Runaway Bay. This should stay north of Runaway Bay, but heads up. Again, as we're dealing with this backside mesocyclone, there's the inflow coming in on the backside. You don't see this every day either. We're seeing a lot of really dynamic storms tonight. We're seeing a lot of real dynamic stuff here. Okay, so let's go to velocities. And here it is. I mean, this is the area of spin, so right back in here. So this is it coming in right back in here. And again, it's not looking super pronounced on radar, but again, you can tell where the area of spin is. You've got a high velocity coming together as a couplet. So you could say this is a high velocity couplet, but again, in general, this is tracking up into Jacksboro. And again, like we just said there was a report of a rain wrap tornado. We haven't confirmed that yet, but there's at least a report of a rain wrap tornado, again, tracking up here towards Highway 380, 281 junction, again, right there in Jacksboro. So again, Chantel, she's just to the south of that, down here in Runaway Bay. And Chantel, as you get more on that, let us know. On radar, it's still looking a little janky here. It's not looking super impressive, but again, we do have that report of that rain wrap tornado potentially again moving into Jacksboro. So if you have friends, family, relatives that live there, they need to be taking their tornado precautions. Let's go to the spin rate again here if we can. And we'll see what the computer thinks about this. Again, there it is, the area of spin. Again, it's not presenting overly impressive, but again, it's not impossible that, again, we have this rain wrap tornado here with this storm. Again, coming right in and just south of the Jacksboro area. Let's go, if we can, we'll zoom in just a little bit tighter here. And so again, that's going to be coming in and just south of the Jacksboro area, and essentially that's going to be crossing there right around Highway 281. So this is Highway 281 coming in through here. This is 380 at junction right there in Jacksboro, and so there's the area of spin. And like I mentioned, that's going to be crossing right there over Highway 281 and potentially up towards Jacksboro again with that rain wrap tornado. Did I hear Joe maybe getting back on the live line with us? Hey, Joe, if you're on the live line, I want to break away from this storm in Jacksville, in Jack County rather, around Jacksboro, and I want to go up here to Cooke County, and that's where we continue with our other tornado warning. And we've got Joe back on the live line. Joe, it looked like this storm, it looks like it's easing down. So this is mainly moving into Cooke County here now. So tornado warning continues here. It's going to be tracking, if it holds together over here towards the I-35 corridor, there's Joe's live GPS. He's in Valley View. And we may also have a flash flood warning being issued here as well. But Joe, go ahead and tell us what you're seeing on this storm. Let's go and hit velocities real quick, and Joe, give us an update from your vantage point there.
All right, so I'm right off I-35 in Valley View. Man, it was a little tough getting over here with cell phone coverage. So right now, I mean, we're just really seeing some rain and some lightning out here. The storm has really weakened quite a bit. I know it's still tornado warned. It's still showing looks like it might have some wind in it out that way. I'm not seeing the wind at my location right now. I'm probably going to work my way up toward Gainesville and just kind of wait for it to track into Gainesville and see if it's, and just kind of get a pretty good look at it. I'm really thinking it's starting to weaken a little bit. It's not as strong like it was earlier in the evening. Back to you.
Yeah, Joe, appreciate that update. Joe doing a great job. He's been all over the place as we've gone through the evening. He's really been tracking this stuff hard and doing a really good job. Again, this is the I-35 corridor. There's Joe right there in Valley View, Gainesville here, Marysville. This right here would be the Oklahoma-Texas line, Red River Valley there. Thackerville, that's where the WinStar Casino is. A lot of folks familiar with that. And again, this is the storm. It really is weakening, Joe. I mean, I agree with you. You can still see the structure of the storm, the inflow into it, kind of this red banding as it circulates into the storm. But it's just the back end of it. We're not getting the wraparound on the back end of it. The mesocyclone, it appears to be collapsing. And, with these storms, we call these cyclic supercells. They cycle up and cycle down. And just because it appears to be cycling down now, that does not necessarily mean that trend will hold. It doesn't mean it can't cycle back up. So again, the tornado warning continues here. We're going to continue to track it. But again, Joe's got eyes on it. Guys, do we have any video, by the way, from Joe? Do we have any? If not, we'll check back on that. If we have, okay, so we'll check on Joe's video coming up momentarily. He just kind of got back to within cell phone range, so that happens. So this mesocyclone appears to be collapsing here. We'll see if that's for a moment in time or if that continues. Okay, let's go back down to the south. And I want to go back down here to Jack County. And this is going to be back down here around the Jacksboro area. And so we continue with the tornado warning here. And again, as we continue with that tornado warning, let's go and zoom in just a little bit closer if we can. And so still strong. And I tell you, this mesocyclone may have come up just a notch as it's coming through Jacksboro. If we can, let's hit the spin rate. And so it's still not presenting real clear here on the spin rate product. Again, this is something you only see on Texas Weather Tracker TV, the spin rate. Again, looking within the storm where the computer thinks the area of spin is maximized, but it's crossing Highway 281, the area of spin is, and that's going to be just south of Jacksboro. And so again, we're going to continue to track this. We had a report of a rain-wrapped tornado. Guys, was there anything else on this storm, anything new other than that rain-wrapped tornado?
5 minutes ago, a funnel cloud was reported in Jacksboro by the National Weather Service.
Okay, so we had 5 minutes ago a funnel cloud reported in Jacksboro. So again, regardless, there's a tornado warning in effect here, and it sounds like we're trying to get some type of intermittent tornadic activity to go. And this one doesn't look as concerning as the one earlier we were dealing with, but again, regardless, tornado warning here. If you live in Jacksboro, you've got to be taking your immediate tornado precautions, and essentially up and down the Highway 281 corridor and the Highway 380 corridor. Again, you've got to be taking those immediate tornado precautions. Once it gets kind of through the Jacksboro area, it kind of goes into a rural area. But again, Jacksboro, a major hometown there of Jack County. So again, we've got to track that carefully. Looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning is coming out down to the south. The one we've been talking about now east of Mineral Wells. We'll get to that one coming up here momentarily. And let's see, we're also looking for damage in the Alvord area. And I'm just looking to see if we have anything new. Okay, so we are getting some damage now around the Alvord area. And this is where, guys, if we can, let's just take the radar back up just to the north real quick. This was real concerning earlier. And the warning is not there any longer, but earlier this evening, as we had the storm move through the Chico and then the Alvord area, there was a strong indication here that the tornado was on the ground. And as it approached the Alvord area along Highway 81 on radar, it appeared to be as though it was maybe even a strong tornado. Now, again, you can't really gauge a tornado specifically just off of radar, okay? Obviously, we understand you have to go out and do the damage survey. So before anybody says that, we understand that. But what I'm saying is the velocities on radar, the way they were pronounced, I think there was a good indication. We may have even had a strong tornado, and we'll see what kind of damage we have. If it was in an open area, that will never verify. But if it was in a different type of area, there might be some verification of that. But it looked real concerning. And again, even as it moved through the Chico area, and again, that was probably about an hour ago. That's the storm that's now moving up towards the I-35 corridor. Tornado warning continues there, but again, the mesocyclone, it's now collapsing. Okay, so let's go back up to that storm up there to the north. And so again, this is mainly moving into Cooke County here now. And let's go and take another look at the spin rate with this storm. And so it's still there's still the mesocyclone, but it continues to spin down. Let's go and take another look at velocities. We're going to talk to Joe, then we're going to get back to Chantel, our trackers in the field. And again, you can still see where the old mesocyclone was, the banding of inflow coming into the storm. But again, the backside of it has still basically collapsed there. And so we'll see if this tries to re-energize or what it tries to do over the next 15 minutes or so. Tornado warning officially still continues. And again, this is going to be tracking up towards the Gainesville I-35 corridor. Real quick, let's talk to Joe since we're already up here, and I think we still have him on the live line. Then we'll get back to Chantel and that other storm down there around Jacksboro. Joe, are you still on the line with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Joe, go and give us an update. If we have his video, guys, also if we can punch it up. But Joe, go and give us an update. Let us know where you are now.
All right, so we're basically on northbound 35 headed toward Gainesville. We're just going to go up here and kind of set up and watch this little area rotation, kind of pass us up, just kind of gauge the wind speed on the ground and see if it does anything. There's quite a bit of lightning out here still. I'm not seeing any hail right now. Really, it's just moderate rain. It's not even really heavy rain at this point. Outside of that, like I said, we're just gonna kind of go up here and just kind of get up here near Gainesville and kind of hold fast and let it come to us. See what it looks like. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate that. We got a report just a few seconds ago, Joe. And again, this is from someone I know personally of a potential still as we even get here into Cooke County. And let me go look at the specifics again here. Again, potentially still some tornadic activity here. And so we'll see about that. But again, that's going to be in Cooke County. And that's going to be just south of Minster, 5 miles south of Minster, and that's going to be in Cooke County. Let's go back to radar real quick here, guys. And so it's going to be just due south here, 5 south, and I mean that puts it right where the mesocyclone is. And so we may still be getting some intermittent, at least funnel cloud activity or more with this. And again, this was a mean mesocyclone. This was a real serious one that we were dealing with, especially earlier in the evening. And so it's spinning down now, yes, but it may not have spun down all the way. Let's go back to reflectivity. Let's go and take a look at this just one more time here. And again, as we do this, and the tornado warning, I believe, is only until 10:45, so we may be letting this expire. Guys, do we know, is the Weather Service going to let this warning expire, have they said?
They said it's broad, so they're going with severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag.
Okay, so it looks like they're going to replace this tornado warning here with just the severe thunderstorm warning, but what we call a tornado tag, where a tornado could be possible at any given second, but not necessarily a tornado warning. Okay, so there's the good news. Tornado warnings just dropped off. Let's just one more time. I want to look at the spin rate, only because we just received that report. Just one more time here. And so it's raggedy. It's just not looking as impressive as it was. To me on radar, this still looks like this is spinning down. And I think from what Joe's seen out there in the field, he's kind of agreeing it's kind of spinning down. Again, cyclic supercell means it can spin up, spin down quickly, and we'll see what this one holds as we go forward. But compared to where it was, nowhere near as intense. And again, the good news here, at least officially for Cooke County, again, the tornado warning has been allowed now to expire. Okay, so let's go back down to Jack County, Jacksboro. This is where we had the report of the rain-wrapped tornado. And again, this is also where we have Chantel. She was coming in there on the 380. And let's look at the spin rate on this one. And let's also look at velocities, because again, this one has just not looked really that impressive. It has not really looked that organized. And again, even though we continue to get the report of the rain-wrapped tornado intermittently, just again, based off of radar, has not looked that impressive. Let's hit velocities real quick too, guys, if we can. And it's still on the backside, and it's still this real small, compact area of an area of spin. It's right back in here, and this is what you call a backside mesocyclone. It's a real small, compact area, but this is still where the area of concern would be, right back down in here. Let's zoom in just a little bit if we can. It's essentially crossed Highway 281, due south of Jacksboro. This is it. Again, it's super small. You can kind of still see it. So bright red area here, bright green area here, high velocity couplet. It just does not look that organized. Let's hit the spin rate one more time. So it's right there, and even on the spin rate, not looking that well organized. But again, just south of Jacksboro, again, that's where we did have the report there of the rain-wrapped tornado. Do we still have Chantel on the line? Okay, we lost Chantel. Okay, so we'll check back in with Chantel. She was just due east of this one, and we'll see what she has again coming up momentarily. But at least officially right now, tornado warning does continue here. And again, it's basically from Jacksboro back over to the east. If we can, let's do a timeline on this one. Let's do a cone of danger here, and let's put some cities up on the other radar if we can. We've also got some flash flood warnings coming out too, guys. The other big story with what we have now, and then also a main wave of rain and storms overnight, it is going to be the opportunity of some flash flooding as well. And we've got some flash flood warnings coming out right now. And so again, Chico and again Alvord, we've said this now a couple times, but this storm is essentially tracking right back through where we had the tornadic activity again earlier in the evening. But again, the times on these, Chico 11:01 and Alvord 11:07. So that would be the general path of this storm, again, if it maintains its course and, again, intensity there as well. So, again, we're just getting some new information coming in here, and just looking at the weather wire here as well. What about the flash flood warnings, guys? Do we have anything new? We've got these big flash flood warnings. Let's zoom out. We really want to highlight these flash flood warnings. Tornado warnings, important, obviously. If we can, let's just put up the warnings. We'll take off the reflectivity here just real quick. And these blinking aqua boxes are also flash flood warnings here too. And so again, outside of the severe thunderstorm warnings, outside of the tornado warnings that are concerning, we've been covering nonstop, obviously, we're getting heavy rain, and we've got this flash flood watch in effect too. And again, the aqua boxes you're seeing blinking here are also flash flood warnings. So if you live in a flood prone area, as this heavy rain comes on in, as we go through now and also into the overnight, definitely keep that in mind. Flood prone areas may be in flood with this heavy rain coming in, and also ponding and some localized flooding on the roadways as well. So let's go and zoom back in to our one lone tornado warned storm. So at least that's the good news. We only have one tornado warned storm left. And so all that's good. And again, this continues here for Jack County. And it's still this storm. And again, we've seen some fairly dynamic stuff as we've gone really through the evening. Again, we've had this couplet, the way the storm presented on radar that moved through the Chico area earlier. Again, very impressive. We have a backside mesocyclone here, very impressive. And then also down around the Mineral Wells area, unfortunately, we had some straight line winds that really presented well on radar as well. So again, where I'm going with this, we really have just had some really dynamic severe weather here in North Texas this evening. Again, we've had it all covered for you live here on Texas Weather Tracker TV. Again, the storm trackers out in the field doing a phenomenal job. Again, reporting back, battling through the elements. And again, to top it all off, by the way, yes, it's nighttime. And again, they're having to deal with that added danger of nighttime tornadoes as well. So again, storm trackers, Joe, Chantel, really doing a phenomenal job and really appreciate, again, their hard work. Again, as we've gone through the evening. And of course, Copeland and Josh here in the studio as well, doing a great job over there running the computers too. Okay, so let's go and take another look at this lone tornado warning that continues here. And we'll look at the spin rate. This storm still, even on velocity, is really not necessarily presenting that well. We've had some intermittent reports here of potentially a rain-wrapped tornado with this. And in fact, we'll switch over to the other radar. Only the other radar, I think, will present this just a little bit better. And as we switch over to the other radar, again, there's a spin rate. So there's the area of spin. Still not looking overly concerning, just crossing 281. But let's also look at the velocities here in the storm as well. And so again, there's the couplet still on the backside. To me, it's looking weaker and weaker, guys. It just crossed 281. Again, not to take away from the tornado warning. There's Jacksboro there. But again, this couplet, this area of spin, just continues, again, in my humble opinion here, to look weaker and weaker. Let's look at that's a reflectivity as well. And even on reflectivity, again, there's kind of the backside. This is the inflow coming into the storm. It's just not as pronounced, again, as it was. And again, this one never really gave us strong indications on radar that it was trying to do something tornadic. But again, we have had that report of the rain-wrapped tornado potentially, and even some funnel cloud activity potentially in the Jacksboro area. We didn't really independently confirm that here on Texas Weather Tracker TV. Those were just a couple reports we got from the Weather Service. But again, regardless, again, tornado warning continues here. And again, tornado warning continues here in Jack County for how long, guys? Do we know? Okay, so until 11. So this is in effect here for just a little bit longer. Let's go and do a time of arrival, just one more time on this. And then we're going to check back in. Do we have Chantel, by the way, on the live line at all? Okay. Do we have Joe on the live line? Okay, so we'll check back in with the storm trackers. Again, they've been doing a phenomenal job. And again, the time of arrival, Chico and also Alvord, again, if the storm holds its intensity, 11:09 and then 11:16, again, as it continues there to lift off to the northeast. Okay, let's go and zoom out the radar. We'll take off the cone of danger there and we'll zoom out the radar. And let's just go and see what we have going on around the area. Let's go zoom into the Metroplex down here. And we can roll this into motion too if we can. So down here in the Metro, it's still quiet down here. So we haven't had anything going on in the Metroplex. It's been a warm, humid, quiet evening down here. Now that will change overnight because we do have rain and storms coming in overnight. All the activity, as anticipated, as forecasted, has been off to our west and northwest. So we'll go a little bit further out here to the west. And this is where we begin to pick up on some severe weather here, some severe thunderstorm warnings. And we'll just move the radar just a little bit further out there to the west. And again, as we move it out to the west, if we can. If not, we can switch to a different radar source. Here we go. And so again, there's the severe thunderstorm warning. We'll pause the animation too here if we can. And so again, severe thunderstorm warning continues here all the way down through the Mineral Wells area. We had a report in Mineral Wells of 56-mile-per-hour winds. I think there was a likely opportunity we had stronger winds than that. Again, in the Mineral Wells area, we had this bow segment that came through, and it appeared to be some high-velocity straight-line winds that may have been as high again as 70 miles per hour. That was about 30 minutes ago, but the general path on this is going to be towards Springtown at 11:57, Boyd 11:02, Reno 11:03, Fairview 11:03, and then again, if it does hold together, all the way down to Saginaw right around 11:17. And so again, if it does hold its general course and intensity, it'll be coming into the northern sides there of Tarrant County. Again, if it does hold together, so we'll be again tracking that aspect. of that storm. But again, severe thunderstorm warning here. This is for Wise, Parker, and Palo Pinto County. And again, this continues until 11:45. And again, the Weather Service issuing this again for at least some 60-mile-per-hour winds. And again, an opportunity of some quarter-size hail. But at least as far as here in the Metroplex goes, this may be, at least this evening, our first taste of a little bit of severe weather here. If this holds its intensity and again comes on in there from the west. If we can, let's put that cone back on there one more time. So again, Tarrant County here. So again, if it holds its current intensity, and most likely it will. Again, it may be severe, just sub-severe, but again, heavy rain, some wind will be coming in, and again, that will primarily be coming in there to northern Tarrant County, and again, far southern Denton County. So again, here in the Metroplex, again, heads up on that, and that'll essentially be after 11. So North Richland Hills, right around 11:12. Flower Mound, right around 11:14. Holds together Grapevine, 11:16. So again, here in the Metroplex, even though it's been fairly quiet, again, things may be changing. Again, with some heavier weather, maybe some severe weather, again, moving in, again, once we get past the 11 p.m. hour, and again, the opportunity of locally heavy rain here as well, again, with the flash flood watch that, by the way, does continue, again, here in the Metroplex as well. So we're tracking that segment, you can see, again, as it does continue tracking east. Let's go up a little bit further to the north here, and that's where we have our tornado warning. And our tornado warning officially for Jack County continues again until continues rather until until 11 p.m. For Jack County. And again, there may still be an opportunity of some tornadic activity on the backside of the storm. Let's go and hit the spin rate if we can. And the general motion on this one, cone of danger, takes it up towards Chico by right around 11:07. And if we're able to load up the spin rate, if not, we can look at the other radar. And there it is. So there's this area of spin with this storm. And again, it's still just not looking quite as impressive as it was. I still think this one continues to weaken down. Again, tornado warning continues here. Again, officially until 11 p.m. Definitely take your tornado precautions within this tornado warning. But again, to me, this one continues to weaken down. Let's look at the velocities rather real quick here too. And we'll take a look at the couplet here. If we can, Joshua Copeland, we'll take a look at the couplet there. And so tornado warning continues as far north as Cundiff. And again, there's the couplet on the backside. Now, the funny thing is that as we've gone with this one where it really never looked that impressive, this is the most impressive this couplet's looked the entire night on this backside mesocyclone. So there's the area of spin right there. It's in a really rural area south of Cundiff there, and it's going to be east of Jacksboro now, north of Highway 380. And a 281. But again, that's the area of spin. Again, it's in a rural area. By any chance, do we have Chantel on the live line? I know she was on that storm. I don't believe we do. Okay, so that's no big deal. So we'll go back over to the other radar source. We'll go back over to the other radar if we can. And we may have Joe on the line. We may not have Joe. That's okay. If we don't, that's no big deal. Let's go back up to the north on that storm up in Cooke County. Okay, and we've got Joe, just heard him on there. And so severe thunderstorm warning here continues for Cooke County, and this does include the Gainesville area, the I-35 corridor. And again, severe thunderstorm warning continues here until 11:45. And again, this is the storm that, again, appeared to produce some type of tornadic activity again earlier in the evening in the Chico area and then also around the Alvord area as well. And again, we are getting some reports of some damage around that area. I think it's a fairly likely opportunity that, again, we did have some type of tornadic activity going on there. But Joe, you've been doing a heck of a job this evening. You've been tracking this stuff down left and right and really staying on it and also staying safe, again, out there, chasing this activity after dark. But again, you're the expert out there in the field. Give us an update. Tell us what's going on with this storm now up there in Cooke County. Severe thunderstorm warning here until 11:45.
All right, so right now I'm on Highway 82 between just west of Gainesville, right here at Lindsay. Just kind of watching west, got a lot of cloud to ground lightning. Lightning is pretty intense right now. Not seeing anything of any lowerings, any wall clouds or anything like that. Not even really seeing any wind on the surface. I'm just going to kind of sit here and watch this thing as it crosses over out of our viewing area and across Red River here shortly, and then go from there. But outside of that, like I said, got some rain, lots of intense lightning, and just sitting here waiting it out. Back to you.
Okay, really appreciate that update, Joe, and a good job there as well, like I said, as we've gone throughout the evening. Okay, let's go. We maybe have Chantel on the line now with us too. Do we have Chantel there?
I'm here.
Okay, let's, if we can, guys, Josh or Copeland, let's go back to our Jack County storm that was still tornado warned. We've got Chantel here back on the live line. Again, Joe doing a great job, fantastic job there, Joe. And we've got Chantel back here. Tornado warning continues here for Jack County. It's east of Jacksboro now. The mesocyclone, Chantel, just it doesn't look as impressive. This is a backside mesocyclone, but tell us where you are now. I believe you're still eyeballing it there. If we have any video from you coming in, we'll take a look at that. But give us an update there from your location, please. Did we just lose Chantel? We may have just, it's pretty rural. Chantel, are you still there on the live line with us? And we may have lost her. Okay, if we lost Chantel, that's fine. Again, she's in a really rural area. And let's see, so Palo Pinto County, severe thunderstorm warning being canceled there. And just simply for the fact that the storm has moved out of that county. So, okay. Okay, let's see. Let's go and zoom this out. Let's go and take an overview one more time here. And if we can, let's go to the other radar source. And I believe all of our tornado warnings have now expired. Is that right, guys? Okay, and this one here in Jack County should be expiring essentially right now. Is that right? And we don't have any indication if that's going to be extended. It's essentially expiring here in 1 minute. And so we'll see if there's any indication from the Weather Service if they decide to extend that. Just based off radar, yeah, okay, so they're going to allow that one to expire. So we have no current tornado warnings. This will be the first time without a tornado warning since maybe 7:30 this evening. So we've, again, as anticipated, went through the evening with kind of a array of tornado warnings. Not a lot of storms. Again, just like we said, isolated storms, meaning 1 or 2 or 3, but any of those storms could be tornado warned. And again, as it turns out, that's, well, exactly what we saw, again, as we've gone through the evening. Okay, let's roll this into motion real quick here, guys, if we can. And again, going on 11 p.m., you're watching Texas Weather Tracker TV, live severe weather coverage. We've been live with you since maybe 7:30 this evening. Again, if you're watching here in North Texas in the Metroplex or even where from around the rest of the world, again, thanks for joining us in our coverages. We've really gone through the evening and really tracked some dynamic weather. We've had a couple tornado warnings as we've gone through the evening, and a couple of these tornado warnings really look tough. And it'll be interesting tomorrow to look at potentially some damage. These went through very small hometowns, rural areas, so no major cities impacted by these. But at the same time, there were potential buildings or structures that may have been impacted by what appeared to be, especially in the Chico area and also around the Alvord area, some tornadic activity. So we're going to track that and have the storyline on that, especially with sunrise tomorrow morning. But again, from here it appeared as though we had some tornadic activity on the ground. So not a good evening for some of those folks. But again, keep in mind those are fairly small and rural communities. So, okay, so here's what we have going on 11 p.m. Metroplex right now quiet, but we do have storms moving in from the west here. And if we can, let's go and zoom in on these storms here. And again, right now, severe thunderstorm warning here. This does continue. And again, it's essentially for this bow line of storms. And again, this is indicative of some high velocity winds. We're going to put on some times of arrival here. And again, as we do that, you can see as these essentially, if they hold their intensity and their current speed, make it into the Metroplex, Flower Mound right around 11:21, Lake Dallas 11:22, Louisville 11:24. And again, if they do hold their current intensity, there may be an opportunity with these storms of some 60-mile-per-hour winds, and also the potential for some quarter-size hail as well. So again, here's Tarrant County, there's Denton County, and again, right now these storms just west of the Metroplex, but again, in general, if they do hold together, they will be moving on into the Metroplex, again, as we go over the next 30 minutes or so. Let's go a little bit further up to the north. Who do we have on the live line? Do we have anybody on the live line, Chantel or Joe? Either one, if not, that's no big deal. And again, the good news is no longer any tornado warnings with any of this activity. Let's take a look at that if we can, real quick. Just that Jack County storm, real quick. I believe, was that still severe? Or did they drop everything on that one? Okay, so the Jack County storm, that one just really didn't look that impressive. We had that report of that rain-wrapped tornado. I don't know about that one. Again, that was a report from the Weather Service. That's nothing that we had here. So then as we go back up here to Cooke County, severe thunderstorm warning here. Now this is until 11:45. And so we've got Joe, there's his red dot, live GPS location, just due west of the Gainesville area. And again, Joe, you've been tracking most of this activity as we've gone through the evening. That Chico Alvord storm, it's essentially now lifting out of North Texas up into portions of Oklahoma, but the mesocyclone basically fell apart as it got there into portions of Montague and Cooke County. But give us an update. You're still involved in some heavy rain. We're looking at your video here. You're out there around the Gainesville area. Tell us where you are now and give us an update.
Yeah, so I'm on the east side of or west side of town on 82, just watching to the west. The lightning seems to be diminishing a little bit. There's still some cloud to ground lightning. Got some pretty good rain. Really not much to speak of in ways of, oh, that's a pretty good lightning strike right there. Just hit a power pole ahead of me. Like I said, there's some moderate rain. It's not real heavy. Not really seeing any wind or anything. Just kind of waiting to see if we get any wind as this thing collapses out over the top of us. So outside of that, that's kind of all we're seeing out here at this point. Back to you.
Okay, really appreciate that update, Joe. And again, really good job. Here's what I think we're going to do, folks. Again, I think we've been on since about 7 p.m. this evening live, and covered a lot of weather here. And there may be some more to go as we go through the evening. We're not going anywhere, but we are going to take a quick break and also allow our storm trackers to take a quick break. And the guys here in the studio as well, Copeland and Josh, again, just doing a phenomenal job. Joe, also Chantel, team of trackers out in the field. So again, this is not easy to do, and especially for our trackers at night, really not easy to do. And again, they were having to really, maneuver, through some backcountry roads as well. And as we all know here, they can, and again, pretty treacherous as well, even with good weather. And again, they were dealing with the rain and the severe weather, obviously, as well. Okay, we got a new tornado warning coming out here just right as we're about to cut it off. Let's see. Say that again. Cooke County up there where Joe is. Joe, we got a new warning coming out here. Hey, let's go back. Okay, let's go and take a look at this, Joe. Joe, hang on the line here with us, and let's go back. Okay, let's go back to radar here if we can too. So we got a new warning coming out. Okay, so it appears it's going to be the same mesocyclone. And Joe, you're right there. It's due west of you, Joe. It's right there in 82. So there's Joe's live GPS. There's the mesocyclone right there. Hey, let's hit the velocities here. Let's look up in that storm. It's the same mesocyclone. Joe, let me know what you're seeing. Mm-hmm.
Some lightning flashes over here behind it to light it up for me.
Okay, and we're just seeing it. And I really appreciate that report there, Joe. And do we know, guys, was that a confirmed spotter report, or was that a radar from the Weather Service? Do we know? Okay, so it's a radar indication. Hey, let's zoom these velocities in here just a little bit. This is the same mesocyclone that again, moved through the Chico area. You can still see the strong inflow. You can still see the banding. This is the old meso here, and but the deal with this one is the back end collapsed on it, and it's been collapsed now for probably the last 30 minutes. So we've still got good strong inflow, spiral banding around, but the backside it had collapsed. And again, that was about 30 minutes ago. Let's hit the spin rate one more time here too. So there's the area of spin right there. So Joe, it's due to your west. Let's hit Joe's video again. And Joe, are you pointed due west from your location?
Yeah, I'm pointed straight west looking at it.
Okay.
And I'm just not seeing any lightning flashes behind it to light it up.
Right.
Got lightning behind me, but it's not helping me as far as being able to see any kind of wall cloud or lowerings or rotation at this point.
Okay, and so great job. And this is a radar indicated tornado, and again, it's right there along 82. We'll call it tornado possible, not radar indicated. From the looks of it here, but I mean, Joe's right there on it. I mean, we've got live video of it, and again, what Joe's saying, it's hard for him to see. Obviously, number one, it's dark, but what our storm trackers do at night is they wait for lightning to light up the sky, and as the lightning lights up the sky, they're able to see the cloud base and see if there's anything going on. So they're always scanning. They're not looking straight ahead. They're not looking straight up. They're always looking at the cloud base, and as the lightning lights it up, because it's normally a split second when that happens, but they're looking at the cloud base to see if they see, number one, a wall cloud or any type of lowering or anything else that could be potentially going on. So Joe's just waiting for some lightning, and I mean, we're sitting here too waiting for it, and we're not seeing it. There's just not a lot of lightning with this storm. This storm overall had been spinning on down. Hey, real quick, let's look at the velocities one more time here. we want to kind of stick with Joe's shot back and forth too, because I literally Joe's right there on it. You know, hey Josh, if you can, or Copeland, whoever's there, can you put the cursor just north of Joe? Can we sample and see how high we are? Because we're shooting out of the Fort Worth radar, but this red right there where my finger is, can you tell me how high up we're shooting there?
That's about 6,700 feet.
So we're at about 6,700 feet. So again, as the beam goes out with the curvature of the Earth, it gets higher and higher in the atmosphere. That's not ultra high, so we're still at a good range at 6,500 feet, so to speak. We're obviously not necessarily at cloud base, but we're still within the realm here. And where I'm going with this is if we're shooting too far up into the clouds, there could be a circulation just below the beam that we're missing. Okay, but we're not. We're basically still right where we need to be. We'd like to be lower, but 65 is fine. So that's what we're looking at here. Okay, let's go back to the spin rate here. And again, essentially the same story. It's just not looking overly pronounced. So Joe, we've still got Joe on the live line, and we're just going to bounce back with him because again, what Joe's seeing is almost better than what we're seeing here on radar. Because on radar, we're not seeing anything overly pronounced, Joe. Just to be honest with you, I don't want to take away from the tornado warning at all. If there's a tornado warning, you've got to be taking your immediate tornado precautions, and that's this specific warning. There's not necessarily a lot of hometowns there. It's eventually going to lift up towards Stackerville in Oklahoma, where the WinStar is. But of course, the WinStar is closed because of the corona. So there's nobody even in the WinStar right now. It's closed because of the corona. But again, right now it's pretty rural. But Joe, so you're looking at it here. You're still live. Have there been any changes since we talked to you last?
Yeah. So just north of my location, it looks like the area rotation has already crossed A2. I can see some when the lightning strikes. I can see what appears to be a wall cloud sitting back just to the north, and it looks like it appears like it's going to be north of A2, going toward the Red River. But it's very far and few as far as the lightning flash as well. What I'm able to see out here right now. So just continue to monitor it, and like I said, I'm not seeing anything as far as tornado on the ground, but I do feel like I do see a wall cloud sitting in there. Back to you, William.
Okay, Joe, really appreciate it. So we're going to kind of stick with your shot here just a little bit, just to let the lightning, again, light up the sky to see if we're able to see anything back in there. And I mean, essentially what you're seeing and what you're saying as well. And again, this is why, nighttime tornado warnings are always tough, because you look at radar and you're seeing something, but then you've got to kind of verify what's truly going on. And again, that's what Joe's trying to do here, but again, he's trying to do it at night. And sometimes you get storms that are really electrically active, and it's lightning bolt after lightning bolt. The sky is lit up, almost like it's daytime, and you're able to see right up in there at cloud base and see what's going on. This obviously is not an electrically charged storm. There's some lightning here and there, but there's not a lot of it, and so that's why we're just really not seeing much. Now, the area spin, it is now north of 81. We'll go back to radar real quick. Joe's maneuvering there, and we're going to check right back in with Joe. Hey, let's go to the other radar, guys, and we'll zoom on in. And yeah, there's the area. So there's Highway 82. The area spin is just north of there. And again, you can see the tornado warning goes all the way up into Oklahoma. There's Stackerville. And again, that's where the WinStar Casino is, if you're familiar with that. And of course, the WinStar is closed because of the corona right now. And so this area spin, if it holds together, is eventually going to be tracking up into Oklahoma fairly quickly. Let's go right back over to velocities real quick again. We're just kind of clicking between these fairly quickly just to see if we get any change. And again, the only thing we're seeing is still just a lot of inbound into this. Now, this is the same storm that again had the mean mesocyclone earlier in the evening that I do think produced some tornadic activity around Chico and also around the Alvord area as well. Again, this is the same storm here, so it does have a history of producing tornadic activity. But again, right now, just based off of radar, just not looking overly impressive. And again, it is in a very rural area. In fact, by the time it lifts out of Texas, there's no additional hometowns. That's the Red River right there. So it's actually, there's no additional hometowns it's going to go through. But again, we're going to track, it's right there along I-35 too. And so again, we'll just continue to track what the impacts are. But again, you can see the banding inbound into it. But it's just, again, what happened about 45 minutes ago, once it made it into Cooke County, the back end of it, the backside, the green return flow, collapsed, and that's essentially what we've been seeing on radar here. Let's check back in with Joe. Joe, and again, we don't want to keep hitting you up over and over and over here. I understand you probably don't have a lot that's changed, but again, just for the sake of this warning, let's go back to Joe's video. And Joe, if you have anything else, give us another update from your vantage point.
So I have repositioned, and I am facing north. I'm on a northbound route here off of 82. I am able to see, some distinct lowerings. Can't really tell if we have anything that looks tornadic right this minute, or if it's I can't even really hardly see the rotation just because of the darkness. But occasionally I do get a couple really good lightning strikes, and you can really see the distinct circulation in there, or the distinct funnel cloud and the wall cloud hanging in there. So I'm just going to keep working my way to the north here, and we'll go from there.
Okay, we're going to keep watching them with you, Joe. Hey, I want to do one other thing here. Let's go back down here to the Metroplex just real quick if we can. We've got some activity coming in from the west. I'm picking up over here on my radar, just off screen here, that I like to look at. I'm picking up on some high velocity winds, and so we may have some severe thunderstorm warnings coming on into the Metroplex here too. And so right now, Tarrant County over here, not currently even in we're in a flash flood watch, but not currently within the tornado watch. But we've got this bow segment here, and this is essentially the same thing that came through Mineral Wells with some 70-mile-per-hour winds. That's now tracking here into the Metroplex. Real quick, before we put on the timeline, can we just switch to velocities just real quick? We've got some high inbounds. And I apologize for being difficult. Let's go to the other radar. I just think the other radar will present this better. And if we can, we'll look at the hot inbounds coming in. And what I mean by hot inbounds, these are straight line winds. And we'll look at velocities here. And so we've got here from Springtown all the way back down to Weatherford. This is I-20 down here. There's Tarrant County over in here. So some of these are going to be coming on in. This is kind of lifting east and northeast. But these are some high velocity winds coming in here. And these easily could be 60 mile per hour plus. And so, again, if those hold together, Pelican Bay, even back over through Eagle Mountain, Saginaw, and again, kind of deeper into Tarrant County there, we may have some 60 mile per hour winds. So right now, officially from the Weather Service, the warning has not been extended any further to the east. But again, if they do, that would include portions of Tarrant and Denton County. And again, the reason for that would be these higher velocity winds here with an opportunity of some 60 mile per hour winds, again, coming on in from the west. If we can, let's go back to the other radar, then we'll do that timeline. And there we go, perfect. So just kind of reading off some hometowns here as this continues to essentially track east into the northeast. But again, if it holds together, Keller right around 1126, Flower Mound right around 1130, Grapevine 1132, and then Lake Dallas 1132 as well, 1134 Louisville rather. So again, we'll see if this holds its intensity, but if it does, there may be some 60 mile per hour winds coming in on the northwestern sides of the Metroplex, again, as we go over the next 30 minutes or less. So again, we'll be tracking this carefully, but again, this is that bow segment here, and again, that's essentially what even moved through the Mineral Wells area, again, with the 70 mile per hour winds, again, just a little bit earlier this evening. But again, severe thunderstorm warnings continue here, just to the west of the Metroplex. We'll see again what evolves with that. Let's go a little bit further to the north here, and we'll just kind of stair step this on back to the north. The other big thing to highlight, we do have some flash flood warnings out there, folks. As we go through the evening, more heavy rain is going to be possible. And so again, flash flooding in flood prone areas cannot be ruled out. We've had, a lot of locations between 2 and 4 inches of rain over the last, 4 or 5 days. So the ground is saturated. Any additional heavy rain will cause, in flood prone areas, some localized flooding. And keep in mind that flash flood watch does continue as well. And then we'll go back up here to the north. Again, that's where we have that tornado warning, and officially still continuing here for Cooke County. And we'll go to the spin rate. We've also got Joe up here, and he's eyeballing it. We'll take a look at his live video coming up here too. And we're just moving the radar around there. Joe's red GPS dot. So here on Texas Weather Tracker TV, all of our trackers, we plot their live GPS location. So on radar, you can always see exactly where they are. Red dot says Joe. That's where Joe is. We're about to look at his video, also hear what he's saying. That's the area of spin right there. And again, it's just not looking that intense. Even though we continue with this tornado warning, just not looking that intense. It will be approaching the I-35 corridor eventually and quickly pushing up into portions of Oklahoma here over the next 20 minutes or so. Let's hit velocities here too. And this is now north of Highway 82. Still strong inbound, but it's just that return flow we're not really seeing. So Joe, are you still on the live line with us? We'll also take a look at your video coming up here too. We've got it punched up. Joe, give us an update on anything new you're seeing on that. Again, this is quickly about to be out of our area, but again, give us. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yes. So we're still out here on the north side of kind of north of 82 over here, kind of in the dark. We do have some lightning, and we're able to see, some lowering back to the north. It appears that it's moving. It's getting really close to Red River. It's about to cross over. I'm not really seeing anything that just stands out that says, hey. So,
Okay.
I'm not going to say it can't produce a tornado, but it's difficult to see. It's high. Outside of that, I mean, it's still got lightning and rain, and there's definitely still some lowering and some clouds hanging out in there.
Okay, really appreciate that update there, and again, great job again this evening as well, Joe. So we're going to check back in with him. I'm just looking for anything new coming in here off the weather wire as well. Now, do we have Chantel back on the live line? We may have Chantel, and if so, let's find out where she is. Chantel. All right, go and tell us where you are now, and go and give us an update.
I am heading into Tarrant. I'm heading back towards Mineral Wells. Definitely localized flooding on the roads. I came across an area where it was probably about 3 to 4 inches of water over the road. It was a creek area. So definitely good response by National Weather Service for posting that flash flood warning.
Okay, and also just some new information coming in here. That looks like the Weather Service here in the Metroplex. Let's do this, guys, if we can. Let's go and switch back down here to the Metroplex, that kind of complex, or really both segment of storms that was coming in from the west. Right now, the Weather Service, they're not going to issue a warning on that. They're going to go with what's called kind of a heavy T-storm advisory, and so that's fine. So right now, the warning you're seeing here, and we'll center this up a little bit, of course, Tarrant County, Denton County, and kind of this little bow of storms coming on in from the west. This had a history of producing some near 70-mile-per-hour winds, again, out around the Mineral Wells area. But again, this activity right now, the way this Weather Service is looking at it, weakening down just enough that at least right now at this point in time, they're not anticipating issuing a new warning for this. The way it looks now, again, that can change as we know, talking about a severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, again, for Denton or for Tarrant County. So we'll see if that changes, but at least right now, no warning anticipated at this time, again, with that activity, again, moving in there from the west. So let's go ahead, let's switch radars. We'll zoom out one more time. We'll do kind of an overview here. And we just don't like to break away when we still have that lone tornado warning up there. But right now, that's moving up into Oklahoma. And again, it's in a really area that there's essentially no hometowns. And again, that tornado warning's up there in northern Cooke County. And again, that's quickly going to move into Love County of Oklahoma pretty quickly here. So Metroplex right now quiet. We've got some storms out to our west and northwest. These will eventually move into portions of Tarrant and Denton County. Right now, the Weather Service saying they're not going to issue, at least initially, a severe thunderstorm warning on those. So they're just going to go with kind of a heavy T-storm advisory, meaning there could be some 50-mile-per-hour winds, some penny-sized hail, and heavy rain. Then we've got this other activity off here to the north that, again, we've had this intermittent tornado warning with. And that storm there, it started out in our far western counties. I do think it has produced some tornadic activity as we've gone through the evening. And now as we zoom in on that there, it's up in our far northern county. And like I said, it's essentially about to move on out of North Texas, again up into portions of Oklahoma. But again, officially from the Weather Service, we do continue with that tornado warning. But again, the way it looks right now, the tornado warning will be expiring again as that storm essentially pulls on out and lifts up into portions of Oklahoma. Anything new from over there in the Weather Center, guys? Do we have anything new to pass along?
The warning in Cooke County is going to be allowed to expire.
Okay, so tornado warning in Cooke County is expiring, so that's good. And again, that's lifting up in Oklahoma. Anything else?
Other than that, really nothing new.
Okay, so tornado warning essentially expiring now. That's lifting up in Oklahoma. Let's go and zoom out one more time. We'll do one more overview here. And again, right now, we hate to break away if there's anything concerning, but there's just really nothing concerning right now. And again, we've been on the air with you since about 7 o'clock this evening, essentially live, nonstop. And again, that's just what we do here on Texas Weather Tracker TV. We don't have to worry about interrupting our primetime programming or anything like that. And again, remember, you can always watch us live on Roku, Apple, Amazon Fire TV, also on our free Texas Weather Tracker TV mobile app directly on your phone as well. Anytime there's severe weather in our coverage area, again, we're here live, again, with our team of trackers out in the field as well. Let's roll this into motion real quick. And as we do that, again, really just nothing new necessarily to pass along. So I think right now is a good time. We're going to take a break. If anything changes, we'll be right back with you. And again, we'll be tracking this stuff coming into the Metroplex as well. But otherwise, we'll take a break here. And remember, keep it with Texas Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for North Texas 24/7.
Stay with Texas Weather Tracker TV throughout the day for continuing coverage. Online, on the app, and on TV.